change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. Why are we always looking for more? Why are we always looking for more? Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me that was bringing you down. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Adrenaline GT ACC. This is the season finale here at Imola, powered by TrackSpotTV and RavenComms. My name, as always, is Isaac Fogarty, and I'm super excited for what's going to be a very exciting evening of racing here at Imola. And here alongside me to help me bring all the action to you lovely people at home, and the man that's going to keep me sane in the commentary box tonight, is the legendary RavenComms himself, Mr. John Wright. Good evening, John. Appreciate it. But yes, this is Adrenaline GT ACC. This is our GT3 championship. Round number 8, it's the finale, and we are at Imola. I am very excited for this race. We've already decided our overall champion, our pro champion, and our pro-am champion, but we still have an AM champion to decide tonight, and what a really, really good track to do it, and I'm very excited. I think I've said that so many times now that I'm probably going to explode with excitement. But yes, we are here at Imola. We've had a cracker of a season, you could say. It's a very Aussie term right there, cracker. We started the season off at Spa. We went to the Nürburgring and the Dutch Grand Prix, or the Dutch Grand Prix circuit, for 2 super sprint races. Then we headed over to Suzuka for round 4. And then we had the Texas Showdown, which was absolutely brilliant at the Circuit of the Americas. Then we headed to Zolder for round 6. Indianapolis, the last time out for our final super sprint race. And now here we are at the beautiful Italian countryside for a 90-minute race. So we've had 1-hour races, we've had 2 30-minute sprint races, and now we have a 90-minute race, which is going to be the ultimate test of endurance, John. Yeah, we'll just have a look. I believe we are struggling to hear RavenComms at the moment. I'm just getting word that that is an issue that we are having, but we're looking at the results on the screen now. So Will Morgan, on debut last time out, did take the victory at the Indianapolis Super Sprint. His very first race, he took the fastest lap and the race win, and what a result that was for him. Simon Bishop in second. So these are our pro results. This is what we're looking at in terms of who finished where in the pro class. Matt Simmons on the podium as well for that race. So it was a great race all around. If we have a look at the overall results, there wasn't too much that changed in the way of the results for that race. Matt Zanetti got himself up there, though, I believe, in the pro overall results. And we're getting those up on screen for you now. Let's have a look. Yeah, Matt Zanetti found his way onto the podium, just usurped Matt Simmons. And that is a man who, despite it saying Pro-Am next to his name, is not a Pro-Am driver. He is very much faster than that. Did a great job. Max Silver as well. We continue to shout out this man. He was recovering from having a broken back and having extensive surgery on his spine just 6 months ago, and he put that car in 6th place at the end of race 1. If we have a look at the race 2 results, it'll be a fairly different story, because there was a massive incident at the start of race 2 with one car missing their brake pedal, and that was XL, XL, who received a 45-second penalty as a result of that. He crashed into the back of Cameron Neame and sent a flying Cameron Neame through turn 1, through our 3 race leaders, which handed James Machin his first win of the season, the first driver this season that isn't a BCG driver to win a race. So the first Mustang driver as well to win a race this season. So It was nice to see a new name at the top. Wasn't always the nicest way that we got there in the end, but it was good to see a new name at the top. Simon Bishop managed to come back to P5 in that race, and I believe we have John back with us now. John, you there, mate?
I believe we are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Isaac's got to listen to this all again, but thanks to the power of capture cards, my microphone was off. Apologies to everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I'm surprised you weren't able to hear the excitement in Australia anyway, bursting out of my windows. I am seriously looking forward to this. And I'm extra glad that we're now back on the mic as well. Good evening to everyone, and thank you, Isaac. I've got up the overall standings. I've got, let's see, the team standings up first of all, Isaac.
This is our team standing results, and mathematically, the team's championship is still alive for TTR Westside. BCG3 had to have a 289-point lead coming into this final round to secure the title, and there'd be no possible way that TTR Westside could win. But if both Simon Bishop and Liam Tame fail to finish today, which is highly unlikely with the calibre of those two drivers, then TTR Westside could take out the team's championship. So we'll keep a close eye on that, because that mathematically can happen. Looking at our pro standings, Simon Bishop wraps up the pro standings and the pro championship, I should say. It's still fairly close between the two TTR Westside boys, so not only have they got a team's championship to fight for, but they've got bragging rights in the pro standings to battle for. Dan Crawley wraps up the Pro-Am championship as well, so congratulations to him. Matt Zanetti pretty much short up second place unless he has a shocker of results today and Andrew Griffin can bag some good points, but it'll be fairly close between Andrew Griffin and Mark Sinclair for third place in the Pro-Am standings. And then this is where I'm rubbing my hands together, John, because we've only got a 50-point gap in the AM driver standings between Porsche GT and Clayton Twining.
Incredibly close between the AM drivers. It is going to go absolutely down to the wire. They're going to need to keep their powder dry, which won't be too difficult. 36-degree track temperature at the moment, so keeping the powder dry won't be the problem. Keeping the rubber on the tyres, that just might be. But yeah, Porsche GT and Clayton Twining, what a season these two have had. They've separated themselves from the rest of the AM field, and they now find themselves duelling it out for the season honours. Of course, the overall driver standings, someone called Simon Bishop up at the top. Hands up, anyone that's surprised. Hands up, anyone?
I don't see any hands.
No, don't see any hands. In fact, I was going to go to the soundboard there and use the cricket effect. But yeah, Nick Carter has done well to hang on to second place over the season, and James Machin as well as Simon. My apologies, Isaac. As Isaac has said, the Westside team have done particularly well, and they've got two in the overall top three. Liam Tame in fourth place, but of course Dan Crawley fifth overall for the Pro-Am driver, and Matt, definitely not a Pro-Am, and needs to be promoted to Pro as soon as possible. Dernetti is currently in seventh place overall. That could well change by the end of today though, Isaac, and we're here of course at the beautiful course that is Imola. An absolutely incredible feat of engineering, saved multiple times by the local mayor. This track was actually slated to go the way of the Hockenheim ring, thankfully, and genuinely, much like Kyalami, it was the local officials that stepped in after F1 health and safety concerns meant the track was, as I say, scheduled to be completely shut down. They completely remodelled so much of this course. It is absolutely incredible, and of course the only thing that remains from the original course is the beautiful giant glass building that we see at the end of the pit lane. Everything else has been modernised, and we are absolutely here for it. Almost exactly 3 miles long, or 4.9 kilometres for the more educated than myself amongst us, and it is going to be an absolute cracker. Aqua Minerale. Oh yes, that corner, Isaac. It's hard to keep a straight face when we talk about it, because that is just, it's the pinnacle of difficulty, but the drivers will still go for overtakes there.
They absolutely will, and there is 18 or 19 technically corners on this circuit, but I have to say that 11-12 complex of Aqua Minerale has to be the toughest. You can see, almost as if on cue, here is Matt Simmons going through Aqua Minerale now, and the car, you have to use so much of the curb to get the car through that corner, and it's so easy if you get it slightly wrong to just clip the curb. In these low downforce cars, the sausage curbs will bite. And look at them there. Look how much he's using in that AMG Mercedes. He's doing a beautiful job. But yes, it's a very, very beautiful part of the circuit.
It really is. Over the top, we've got drivers have already set some qualifying times though, and it is Matt Dernetti who is leading the way by 63 hundredths of a second. Half a tenth separating the top two over 3 miles. It's pretty close. Machin is in second place. Oh, Dernetti's gone quicker here. Let's see Simon Bishop crossing the line in the BMW. Can he match or top Dernetti? It's not bad. That is not bad
at all.
Yeah, you're not a pro yet, Mr. Dernetti, and Mr. Bishop is just reminding you of that at the moment. That is incredible. Crawley's in second place for the Pro-Ams, with Sandwith currently in third place. Leading the way in the Arms, it is T. Not sure who that is. With Boyd.
Mr. T.
Mr. T. I pity the fool they don't know my name. We've got Twinning and Straight Face. Twinning and GT, of course, the battle that we will be intensely watching for the 90 minutes here at Imola. They're currently third and fourth in the Arms, so I'm expecting some improvement there. We've got a couple of drivers not quite set times yet. And there's Bishop just exiting the pits. Machin is still out on track. It really is important. There's not many courses, Isaac, where qualifying is vitally important, but at Imola, because this really does have a fun turn one, it's got a lot of runoff, which you think to yourself, that's okay, but that runoff will slow you down. You do not want to be on the gravel into this first chicane. It's so inviting as well, because of the run the drivers get into turn one. They really do have some serious momentum behind them when they get into turn one. So qualifying here is going to be absolutely vital for a good result tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be key for these drivers. You see through turn one and even throughout the circuit just how narrow the track is, and the drivers were warned of that in the briefing to just be aware when they go off circuit just how narrow that circuit is, and trying to rejoin, you're on the gravel and you're losing control of the car already on the grass, on the gravel, and just trying to get back on the circuit is going to be a nightmare for some of these drivers. So it's going to be key to take it easy through turn one. They were told that in the driver's briefing. You can't win this 90-minute race by overtaking someone at turn one, lap one, and they know, and they're fully aware that it will be heavily penalised if there is a massive incident at turn one in this race. So hopefully they all take it easy, hopefully they heed the warning, but at the end of the day, these guys are racers, and as soon as those lights go green, the goggles are on, and the red mist comes over, and who knows what'll happen once they get underway. But hopefully everybody takes it easy into turn one. You can see even in qualifying here, these guys are pushing the cars to the absolute limit, and as you mentioned, qualifying around here, absolutely crucial. You want track position. It's very difficult to overtake around here at the best of times, and with the aero wash that these cars provide, it's so difficult to stay close long enough to size up a move. If you can get a good run through that final section of corners, you'll find yourself with the slipstream to overtake down the front straight, as we see Jono Stankowski running wide there on the exit of turn 5. But I do have to say, I think that we're going to see a very shaken up top 10 tonight. That is my prediction. The top 10 that we're used to seeing, it's looking pretty normal now in qualifying at the moment, but with 90 minutes, I'm predicting that a fairly shaken up top 10 is going to take place. Potentially even an AM driver inside the top 10 today, just with how crazy this circuit can get. But we're looking at a lot of drivers around here now, and if you go slightly wide here, it's kind of like Circuit of the Americas, I would liken it to, in terms of the track limits. It's very harsh, especially through Aqua Minerale here, turns 11, 12, and 13. Slightly wide through this section of track here, and the game will take your lap time away.
Yes, it will. Yep, the track stewards, they are exceptionally vigilant around this course, and the drivers, they do like to come to their attention. As we can see, Bishop over those curves, I mean, it's just incredible. The way the drivers set up the cars as well, it's like a dark art as far as I'm concerned. Ooh, gets a bit close to one of the slow movers in quali. Bishop looking to extend his lead, but as Isaac said, the track limits here really do need to be respected, and in a 90-minute race, I guarantee, and this isn't curse of the commentator, I guarantee we see at least 3 to maybe 7 drive-throughs for track limits over the piece, because as again Isaac alluded to, this is a very narrow circuit in the grand scheme of things, especially coming here into turn 1. The drivers will be looking for every bit of space that they can, and one minor miscalculation on the steering wheel on a corner exit and you will find yourself with more rubber on the gravel than you should, and you will find yourself with a little tick in the warning box. Collect 4 of them, you win a free trip through the pits. It is a beautiful pit lane. Oh my goodness me, how much of that exit did he take there? That is just horrifying. It's hard to concentrate when the drivers are so close to the edge. We've got Dernetti though. He is comfortably leading the way in the Pro-Ams at the minute. Isaac, Dan Crawley down in 11th place, almost over a second off, and Crawley has got an identical time to Burrows and just ahead of Silver. So the driver, this is really one of the tracks that does separate out the driver classes. As we can see, we've got a whole bunch of pros with Dernetti up there, then the Pro-Ams in the order. King up to 17th, separating himself from the rest of the arms, but then the rest of the arms are grouped together. And interestingly, Simon, why am I calling you Simon all of a sudden? I'm obsessed with Bishop, that's what it is, Isaac. But Twinning and Porsche GT, who's still in the McLaren, thanks very much Porsche GT, it doesn't make it confusing at all. Those two down right at the back of the field, and they're battling for a championship here. This is an interesting one. They're going to have some work cut out for them here, but it is just between those two, so it's good that they're close together, but it's slightly surprising to me that the two of them are at the bottom of the qualifying pile at the moment.
Yeah, that is huge for the championship, because these guys want to get as far away from each other as possible. If I'm Porsche GT or if I'm Twinning, I want to be qualifying as far ahead of the other guy as I can, because the more distance between the two of them, the better. Twinning has it all to do today. There's a 50-point gap, which means that he has to finish, he has to win the class, and Porsche GT has to finish 7th in the class or lower, which, looking at that leaderboard, there's only 6 AMs in this race today, which means that Porsche GT essentially has to DNF for Twinning to win. But if I'm Twinning, I want to make sure that I'm winning to give myself, or leading to give myself, the best chance possible. Here we go. This is on the board. This is our championship picture. So if Porsche GT can just finish the race 6th or above in class, then he will win the AM championship, provided that there's no post-race issues. If Twinning wants to win, Porsche GT must finish 7th, which he can't do as there's no 7th AM driver. So therefore, Porsche GT has to DNF today's race for Twinning to take out the championship. So it's all in the hands of Porsche GT essentially today. The pressure is on him to make sure he finishes this race. Twinning just has to finish, and that's as best he can do. But if I'm him, I want to be leading the way in this AM class to give myself the best possible opportunity, because you never know. You never know what could happen. But looking at qualifying, we have 4.5 minutes to go now. Most cars are on the circuit. Dernetti still half a second off the back of Simon Bishop in this session. So Simon Bishop with his 40.8 really setting the way. And I've just had something come to me that will remind me of how this the strategy will play out in this race. It's one of my favourite words at the moment, John. Variable weather.
We absolutely love it. I'm sure the drivers will be keen for a bit of variable weather, because I was going to touch on that track temperature. Currently at 36 degrees, and as Isaac mentioned, the aerodynamic wash that comes off the back of these cars makes it difficult to follow it puts a whole lot of extra pressure on those front tyres. You put the track temperature up to 36 degrees, and that is an extra amount of pressure. There will be blistering. The drivers do have a mandatory pit stop for tyres, of course, over the 90 minutes, and they will be exceptionally grateful for that, even if they're going to full, just splitting that 45 minutes to 45 minutes. The tyres really are going to be put under some serious pressure in the opening laps. It's going to be, tyre management is going to be absolutely vital on this one. But we do have a cloud in the sky, so anyone that's out there looking to do a rain dance, feel absolutely free. We are here for it. Why not have some water on Aqua Minerale just to make it that extra bit spicy? Oh, speaking of spicy, the Ferrari gets it wrong, and Dernetti is going to sail past. He's got less than 3 minutes to try and catch Bishop, which, let's face it, everyone has been doing for the entirety of the season, and not many have managed so far. He's just coming down towards the final couple of corners. Where is Bishop? He's pulling into the pits for a fresh set of rubber with 2.5 minutes left to go. We'll see what Dernetti does out of the final 2 corners and see if he can at least close the gap on Bishop. I mean, he's got 9 drivers separating him from the rest of the Pro-Ams. So he's certainly looking good in the Pro-Ams, so I'm sure that he wants that top spot. Doesn't manage to do it. We've just seen Nicholson go 3rd. No, he's not. He's been knocked down to 4th in the Pro-Ams because Silver has just found himself some lightning in a bottle there. 1.4 seconds down on the leader. I tell you what, Bishop's pace is just absolutely disturbing. It really is. Half a second ahead of the rest of the field. It just... That's how we stamp a marker down. I think he's been flawless this season, and he is looking to continue that. No let up here. An absolute championship drive from a championship winner, and yeah, there's not enough superlatives to discuss just how good Simon Bishop is behind the wheel of this BMW.
He's rapid. He is absolutely rapid, and that's the only word that comes to mind for me. Well, and as Matt Simmons goes 2nd, so usurps the Matt Zanetti. So the battle of the Mats continues even in the final round here. And just on touching on earlier when you were discussing Aqua Minerale and a bit of rain, fun fact for those of you who are fluent in Italian like I absolutely am not. Aqua Minerale translates to, in English, mineral water. So I hope we get some water at Aqua Minerale later if the rain does show up. But I just thought a little fun fact for you that is what Aqua Minerale does translate to, mineral water.
Indeed, or taking it almost full tilt, huge minerals. I would say. Here comes Bishop across. Oh, Dernetti not to be outdone by Simmons. Bishop didn't go quicker. Dernetti did. Gets to within a 10.5. Matt Simmons, he's going to need some 420.11 to console himself after this one. He's 420 down. 420 tenths down on Simon Bishop, but it is Dernetti that's gone back up to 2nd place. He is not to be outdone. Tame has pulled over Machin. Let's see what he can do across the line. Is he going to have enough time for another lap? He is going to be very close indeed. No, he's not. Oh, Machin's done.
So that's it. P5 for the 193 provisionally as well. Josh Green up into 6th place at the moment. But so that means that everyone now is on their final lap. This is your last chance to get it right. So you better hope you don't invalidate this one, because this has got to count. This is Mr. T, as also known as Poketus in the AGT Discord. He is pushing hard at the moment. We haven't seen him for the last few rounds because he didn't have the DLC packs to participate in the American races. We've got a car pulled off to the side there. They'll be getting out of the way of this, which is very good to see. We make sure that the drivers are fully aware they need to get right out of the way so that no one is inconvenienced. We've got a couple cars moving down towards the finish line now. I don't know who that is. I'm trying to read numbers. We'll see if anybody improves, because the top of the timetables is looking very spicy. Oh, big slide, and that'll be it for Mr. T. A big slide through Aqua Minerale, and that is the section of the track that can bite, and he pulls off to the side. That'll do it. Porsche GT Can he improve his qualifying position to get ahead of Clayton Twining here at the finale? Does he? No, he doesn't. So he stays where he is, which is crucial for Twining because that is key track position. So Simon Bishop stays the fastest. Look at that. We're sharing around the fastest sectors this week. Sharing is caring, everybody. So only 1.2 tenths between Simon Bishop and Matt Zanetti. Matt Simmons not able to improve his time. Will stay in third. Liam Tame will finish fourth. And James Machin, top 5.
Yeah, not too shabby at all. Porsche GT in the chat. He ran out of fuel on the last corner.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's brutal.
No.
Yeah.
That'll kick it.
That really will kick it, but that is qualifying come to an end. As we can see in the arms, it's King who is taking the top spot. Mr. T in second with Boyd and Twinning in third and fourth. Porsche GT going to start in 5th place. Again, just needs to finish the race. Easier said than done at Imola, over 90 minutes in cooking temperatures and potential rain. With the Cacks bringing it up the rear. In the silvers, it is Matt Dernetti once again taking the top spot. Anyone surprised? Hands up. No, I'm not even going to waste my time waiting on that response. He did take...
Not seeing anyone.
No, absolutely not. Everyone is sitting on their hands at this point. They know there's no point in putting their hands up. It takes a purple sector too. Interestingly, 3 different manufacturers as well taking a purple sector in qualifying. Crawley, Silver, Nicholson, Gordon, Williams, Sandwith, Horvath, Griffith and Sinclair all in the top 10 for the silvers. And of course the pros, Simmons separated from Bishop by Dernetti, with Tame, Machin, Green, Carter, Stankowski, Asraf and Sheepers all inside the top 10 as well. Dan Crawley in 11th. And as I was saying, Isaac, this is a track that really does separate out the skill level of the drivers. We can see we've got a solid group of pros at the top. Then the Pro-Ams, of course, we've got the anomaly that is Matt Dernetti, and then the arms settling down at the back of the grid. But I do still think, as you've said, we've got King there up in 16th. Seeing an arm in the top 10 this week and maybe even beyond, absolutely not out of the question with a 90-minute race around this track.
No, absolutely not. Anything can happen in this 90 minutes. Now, it is key to note, we're only doing a half formation lap today. We're only doing the short formation lap just because it's such a long race. We want to get this as underway as early as possible for our drivers that are overseas in New Zealand, because they are 2 hours ahead of us, which means that this race is going to finish quite late for them over there. So we wanted to get this underway as soon as possible. So hopefully everybody's ready, because we've only got 9 seconds till we get underway. And we can see everyone's lined up on the grid, ready to go. And I think we are getting underway now. And we are, the cars moving, so short formation lap. So this will be key for drivers to get their tyre phasing under control very early. A very nice helicopter cam shot for the start of the race here. Look at them all concertinaing through these final 2 corners. This is absolutely crucial, this section of track, for your tyre temperature, because when you get to turn 1, you want to make sure that car stops and then grips up through the corner. You get a little bit of tyre temperature courtesy of the virtual tyre blankets that the GT3 cars get. That is Liam Tame sitting a little bit back from his grid mate, Matt Simmons there. He'll move up now into the position he should be into. It's almost time. We should be getting the 70km/h mark now. You can see drivers going a little bit wide. Matt Zanetti widened himself out a little bit to make sure he's not out of position off the start here. Are we far off going? That's the finish line. So any time from now, they should go. We're watching for those lights. They go green. We are away for the finale of the Adrenaline GT3 Season 1 Assetto Corsa Competizione Championship. A great start from Simon Bishop. He will lead the way into turn 1. Everyone being nice and spacious into turn 1. A lot of curb usage there for one of the Mustangs. A little bit of contact between a Ferrari and a Mustang as well. There's a little bit of side-to-side contact. We are watching Josh Green on board. That's Max Silver that's been pushed down the pack a bit. We'll wait for the timing screens to update with where everybody is at, but that looks like a fairly clean start for turn 1. No one has been left behind. There's a car right at the back, but I believe they started in the pit lane, and that is Mark Sinclair that started from the pits. Twinning at the back.
Sorry. Yeah,
no, Mark Sinclair 26. Right at the back started from the pits. Yep. So Twinning 26, which is crucial for Porsche GT in this championship. He just has to finish ahead of Twinning, and that's it. It's over. The championship is his. So at the moment, that is going the way of Porsche GT, but it's never over until the race is over, and we have an hour and 28 minutes left in this one. Simon Bishop, brilliant start, leads the way, but Matt Zanetti not too far behind. He's not letting him get away just yet. They're all using the track limits early, getting their first warning as soon as possible to make sure that they push as hard as they can on this opening lap. But that was a very good first lap, I have to say. Not a lot of push and shove from drivers, a lot of respect shown through those turn 1 and 2 complex, which is what we talked about in qualifying.
Yeah, you need to keep your powder dry on that lap 1. To finish first, you must first finish. You cannot win a race in turn 1, but you can certainly lose one. And the drivers deciding, oh no, there we go, Boyd and Mr. T are going to go side by side. Oh no, that's the two McLaren, sorry, that's Porsche GT. He's already passed Boyd.
Porsche GT.
Oh, no. Sorry, Boyd has gone past them both. The timing tower absolutely throwing us under the bus there. And Mr. T is going full defensive from Porsche GT. Twinning is made back 2 positions as well as these two McLarens do battle to catch. Now in 25th place behind Twinning, so he is catching back up to Porsche GT. He is going to keep GT honest in this race, that is for absolutely sure. We've got a solid group of cars here as well. Oh, and we've got Horvath running on. No, Horvath going through. That's the Bentley. Gordon dropping position. That's 3 positions. Yeah, and he is now caught up by the arms. That is a terrible start to lap number 2 for him, and he is going to be caught by Boyd and Porsche GT. But up at the front, Isaac, it is very much the Simon Bishop show once again. The rest of the pack doing their best to keep up, but he's already a second ahead. Dernetti as well, 1.3 second up on Simmons. That is the start that he is looking for.
He's had an absolute, well, I should say, stonker of a start there. He's got a massive gap over his closest pro-class rival in Matt Simmons, which is technically his teammate, but not on the same team if you look at the stat sheet. But they're doing a great job so far. Josh Green doing a really good job. Was a bit frustrated after qualifying, was fairly well up, but a car that was abandoning their lap got in his way and he lost all his time. So he feels like he should have been further up at the start of this race. But P6 is still a solid result. He's racing for Fogarty Motorsport this week, so not at all biased in supporting him today, but he's doing a great job so far in the 232 Fogarty Motorsport Mustang. He's got James Machem, last time out, the race winner in front of him. So these two boys are going to be going at it for pretty much the whole race, I would suggest. You've got Jono Stankowski right behind, and then Nick Carter not too far behind him. So at the moment, James Machem doing the job he needs to do to jump Nick Carter in the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, Ashraf just ran wide out of the second chicane, and that has given Nicholson the jump on him. Nicholson into the top 10. So we're seeing the Pro-Ams make their way into the top 10. And of course, King, he's made up places as well. He's up to 15th. Come on, the Ams in the top 10. Let's go, Imola. Silver and Shepherds are doing battle down into Aqua Minerale, chasing Crawley. There's confirmation that Ashraf has been overtaken after that off-track excursion, but it is an absolutely solid battle still going on between Tame, Machem, Green, Stankowski and Carter at the back of this pack in the Mustang, and he is perfectly positioned, you would say, Isaac, to maybe get a jump on the cars ahead if they cannot get the clean overtakes done. He is firing down into the last corner, and that Mustang is looking pretty on point at the minute.
Yeah, it's looking very sharp. The Mustangs are quite a nice car to drive around here. I was driving one earlier in the week, and if you can get the setup right, it's so pointy, especially across the curbs. You can just sort of abuse it, almost like a V8 supercar for any of the Australian, New Zealand, or just international supercar fans watching. It feels a lot like one of those to drive, just in the way that you can use the curbs. Not necessarily all the sausage curbs, but you look at the chicane on the back straight, it's really good through there. You could just basically straight line it. It's quite fun, actually. But he'll be biding his time right now. It's an hour and 24 minutes left in this race. We're barely 6 minutes in. He won't want to do anything silly early. He'll just want to let the people in front of him feel the pressure of him being there. He's looking at Jono Stankowski in front. He'll want Jono to feel that pressure of him behind. He's got no pressure behind because Ashraf has dropped right off. He's now in 9th place, which means we may have had an incident somewhere because Nicholson was ahead of Ashraf and Ashraf was outside the top 10. So potentially someone has dropped down the order there. We'll get onto that. Might have been Burrows. But they're getting pretty racy. The Ferrari Enterforce Racing teammates pushing each other wide on the entry to Aqua Minerale. This is not a section of the track you want to be going too wide, because that's where the tears can start to flow if something happens through there, especially if you're teammates.
Indeed, yeah, the tears, that might be the aqua that we see in the Minerale there as the tears falling from the drivers. We've got some solid battles still going on. Sandwith and Griffiths are still battling away. Porsche GT is doing exactly what he needs to do, keeping it between the Mayo and the Mustard. Currently third in the arms in the race. He is leading the championship though, and it's Gray that's dropped down the order. Can confirm he's down to 23rd position in that Ferrari, and it is looking a little bit battered and bruised as well. So he is down. He started. Was he with the driver that started from? No, it was Sinclair that started from the pit. So Gray has dropped down the order ever so slightly, and I'll tell you what, Matt Dernetti has just taken the fastest lap of the race and got himself to within 0.8 of a second. Isaac, it's hard to keep a straight face and not get overly excited at the prospect of what we are about to be treated to, and I do mean treated to, because Bishop and Dernetti, world-class drivers, both of them. No arguments from anyone. I will not hear it, but what we will see is these two absolutely go at it, and the rest of the pros not to be left out. Machin and Tame, of course. Machin has race-winning pedigree in this series. Tame's done not too bad this season as well, getting himself a couple of podiums. I'm not sure where we're going to look just now. I think we'll jump on board with Carter and Stankowski. Machin and Tame still going at it as well. But Matt Dernetti, once again proven, Isaac, he's not a pro-am. He is a pro. In fact, him and Bishop should probably just be in a league of their own at this point.
Absolutely. I think we're just gonna have to create a new class for season 2, and we're just gonna title it Alien, and we're gonna put those two in it.
Yep.
I think that's what we're gonna have to do. But what this is doing as well, this is really exciting for this race, but not only this race, this is making me really excited for next season, because you think about it, I was looking at the statistics the other day. 1.2 seconds at the first race of the season was the qualifying gap between Simon Bishop and Matt Zanetti. So that's 1.2 seconds. Today, in qualifying, 0.12 seconds. So he has essentially divided the gap by 10 to Simon Bishop. He is 1/10 of the distance that, 1/10 of the distance that he was at the start of the season to now, which is absolutely crazy to think about. And I'm excited because this man, Matt Zanetti, he loves this game. He tells me all the time just how much he loves this game. And this is the man that 6 months ago at Bathurst at the 3-hour race was upside down through Skyline in a Ferrari. And now he is half a second off the back of Simon Bishop and pushing one of the best drivers in the world when it comes to sim racing, and one of the best drivers certainly in Asia, Oceania, to the absolute limit and putting him under pressure, and he's doing a really good job of it. So I'm really excited for where this is going to go in season 2, but also we have an hour and 20 minutes left in season 1, and anything can happen.
Indeed it can, and I've just realised that I too am a world-class driver, because I too have been upside down in a Ferrari at Bathurst. So I must be amazing as well. Excellent. That's how it works, isn't it? Just agree, it's fine.
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, we'll just keep the old Scotsman happy, it's fine. Machin and Tame are definitely going to keep me happy. They're going for it side by side into the final corner complex. He's got the move done. Ladies and gentlemen, race fans young and old, please take to your feet and clap those hands. And then send Kunos an email saying, can we please get a proper replay function on console? Thank you very much. But Machin giving it the full Sendosaurus Rex there, and he absolutely made that stick a beautiful move on the brakes. And Green won't be too sad to have seen that happen as well, because that's brought him right into contention as well. The Mustangs had a race, and the BMW is looking to get caught in the middle of it. These three absolutely on top of one another, and Dernetti is within 4/10 again. It's a spicy meatball here in Italy. We've got Burrows, King, Nicholson battling away with Carter. I'm pulling out all the impressions today. I'm clearly getting sacked. Thankfully, I'm hoping George isn't watching. This could be my last time with TrackSpotTV with some of the accent abuse that I'm throwing about at the minute. We've got Carter, Nicholson, King, Burrows, and Silver. Look at it. Oh, and that's another one out with the second chicane. No, it's not another one. It's the Bentley again. Gordon in that Bentley, he is not enjoying the second chicane at all. Villanueva is proven to be a bit of a chink in the armour for the Bentley. I do remember the days when it was all Bentleys on ACC, then it was all McLarens, and now, thanks to proper balancing of performance, we're seeing all the manufacturers right up there, but certainly the Bentley out in the sand once too often already in the early stages, and that really is going to cost him time. He's going to have to fight his way back through the field, and what a fight it's going to have to be. He's going to have to bring a gun to a knife fight, because it is absolutely all going on up ahead. I'm really struggling to pick a battle to watch here. We've got Griffin being hunted down. Williams is just ahead of this little group, Isaac, but still at the front is Bishop and his shadow Dernetti. 6/10 separating these two, and at this point it is just a game of cat and mouse between them. They know they've got the pit stop to take. We can see they've got that one mandatory stop. They're going to wait a while before they take that pit stop, you would imagine. The 36-degree track temperature will certainly keep those tyres nice and cosy warm. You don't want too many mistakes, because of course they will overheat very quickly. ACC often called the tyre pressure simulator, because that's the majority of what you need to do. And Dernetti and Bishop, and at this point you were talking about aerodynamic backwash, and it does look to me at the moment like Dernetti is just sitting just on the edge of that, so he doesn't run through too much of his tyres early door, and just, I mean, if he's waiting on Bishop to make a mistake, we might all hit 100 years old, obviously, but at the moment, going for the overtake, going for anything too crazy at this stage, Dernetti's not going to do that. He's just going to keep on driving, and he's going to see what happens in the pit stop phase, you would feel, because if we're waiting on Simon Bishop to make a mistake, we're going to be waiting a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah, well, you think about it, the first time that Simon Bishop made a mistake was Zolder, and that was round 6. So if we're waiting for him to make another mistake, we really have to wait another 6 rounds. This is only be the second round, so I don't think Matt Dernetti's in any luck today. He's still got 4 more rounds he'll need to wait before Simon Bishop will make another mistake. But they're both doing a great job so far. As you said, it's just a game of cat and mouse. Who can look after their tyres better? It won't be too great for Matt Dernetti, because he's sitting in the hot air of that BMW. So not only is he dealing with the 36-degree track temperature, but he's not getting any cool air into those front tyres to just make his life a little bit easier. So we may potentially, as this stint wears on, see him drop off the back just to cool the tyres down a bit. But you never know. This is Matt Dernetti we're talking about. This man will just push and push and push until he gets past. And look at how close he is there through turn 7. Through Tosa, I believe. I probably will pronounce that wrong. My Italian isn't the best, but it is very close now through turn 8. Yeah, this is very aggressive from Matt Dernetti. You can tell that he is hungry for that track position. Matt Simmons has dropped right off the back of these guys, so this is either Matt Simmons just conserving tyres, or these guys are just really fast. It could be a bit of both, let's be honest. But if I was Matt Simmons, I would be doing exactly what he's doing. Drop off the back, don't sit in the hot air, save those tyres, especially in the Mercedes, because it's really easy to use the tyre life around here. Josh Green
made a mistake.
Liam Tame dropping down the order. So that's car 76 down in 9th place now. So a mistake has come, or potentially maybe contact. We're not entirely sure. They made contact with Green. There we go. So contact between Tame and Green has meant that Green now drops down. Tame now drops down to 9th place. 10th. That is Max Silver behind him. So I was going to say maybe 10th, but That is the Ferrari of Max Silva in behind him. So now he's in a Ferrari sandwich at an Italian circuit. That is not a
bad place to be.
that I would very much like to. No, not a position I would like to be in at an Italian circuit. I'll tell you that much for free. This is Williams, Jay Williams. This is his debut in AGT. He's running a wildcard entry today in the 88 BMW, doing a great job so far in the Pro-Am class, up into 17th. And this is a very tricky field to jump into and be quick in. We saw Willstar do it with ease last time out, but that is a man who has had a lot of experience against most of the guys in this lobby. Jay Williams, pretty much new to AGT in total. We haven't seen him too much before. We saw him in a couple Porsche Cup races that we did a few weeks ago as a bit of a fun night, and he had a fairly good result in there. He had a lot of fun, but he's up into 17th place now, and he's doing a great job. Another man who is on debut is Ashraf, and he's down in 20th place at the moment, so potentially a mistake for him as well, which has put him down the order. He was up in towards the top 10 earlier, so there may have been some contact there as well, but he's doing a really good job. Both those guys on debut, and just absolutely having the time of their lives. Gray as well, Adam Gray on debut in the Ferrari for FR Racing, also his first time out. But Porsche GT is still leading the way over Clayton Twining for that AM Class Championship. He's not leading the AM Class. That goes to Sam King up in 13th at the moment, and Mr. T in 22nd. But Porsche GT is leading the way. We've got a drive-through. Poor Jay Williams. I'm giving him the commentator's curse. I was talking him up, and there's number one. What did you say? 7 drive-throughs.
There'll be at least 3 with a maximum, I think, of 7. So yeah, that is the range that I think we're going for, and the fact that we're 18 minutes in and we've got the first one, we're definitely going to go beyond 3. It's just the nature of this course. It's nothing to do with the driver's ability, lack of, or anything like that. It is this course. It invites you onto those track limits. You need to be on the edge to get yourself some good consistent lap times, and yeah, the problem with being on the edge is you can easily fall off. And speaking of falling off, actually, Isaac, interestingly, the clouds have gone and the track temperature has increased by a degree. So the only water we're going to see in Aqua Minerale is the sweat pouring out of the driver's cockpits, because that is going to be toasty warm in those cars, and the tyres are going to be melting, and it is going to change those pressures a bit. We're only 19 minutes in. If we see a track temperature increase by another degree or 2, that could really change up the driver's intended pit strategy. As a wise man once said, no battle plan survives first contact with the enemy, and certainly no pit stop strategy survives first contact with changeable weather. We were hoping for rain, but it looks like the drivers are going to have to get their sunnies out. Yeah, there we go. I should have done that one in an Australian accent, but yeah, they're going to get the sunnies out and chasing away the seagulls. Half a second separating these two, and there is going to be a lot of rubber left on the track by these cars. There's also battle going on in the Pro-Ams, Isaac. Sandwith, Griffin and Gordon. Gordon in the Bentley, looking to just steady the ship. Those 2 off tracks through Villanueva really have been costly for him. But he is gathering himself back up, and as you say, he's got those 2 Ferraris ahead of him, and in a straight line you would fancy the Bentley to do well here.
Yeah, it's a very quick car in a straight line. It has lost a bit of weight as well under the LFM BOP, so the Ferrari actually gained 10 kilos, which there was a lot of feedback earlier in the week from the Ferrari drivers that this car was struggling around here as it is, but adding 10 kilos just adds another bit of complexity to the pace that this car is struggling to find, which you wouldn't pick it, would you, in an Italian car struggling in an Italian circuit? You'd think the Italians would build their circuits to suit their cars. But here we go. This is Griffin going up the inside of Sandwith into turn 7, and Gordon having a sneaky little look there as well. These guys don't want to spend too long battling. Griffin trying to find his way to hold on to 3rd in the Pro-Am class, and he has to outperform. Trying to see if I can find them. He has to outperform Sinclair today, which currently he is doing. So Sinclair did start from the pit lane, which means he's down the back. But Griffin will want to get all the points that he can today to shore up that third place in the Pro-Am Championship. This is Crawley at the moment, your incumbent Pro-Am champion. And he's doing a really good job at the moment on the back of Jono Stankowski. This man we've only seen him at a few races this season, and he'll be stepping away from BCG next season to focus on some other more real-life endeavours. But he's doing a great job at the moment, up into P6 for Crawley. That's a very nice move.
No, it's not.
Oh, I say that. I've given the commentator's curse. He's gone off. What am I doing? What am I doing today? I've just cursed drivers left, right and centre. I talk up one driver, gets a drive through. I talk up Crawley on how nice the move is, and he goes off at turn 1, which now puts him down behind Shepherd. So not a massive overall loss, only technically 2 is the net loss there for Crawley, but a lot of track position lost and a lot of time he needs to make back up to get back up onto the back of Stankowski. But he's obviously got the pace to do it, so we'll keep a close eye on him. Matt Zanetti dropped over a second now off the back of Simon Bishop. They're coming up on back markers for the first time in this race. So we're only, 22 minutes into this race. We've already found our first back marker in Georgie Takacs. So number 24, Macca's livery car. And this is Jay Williams. So there's a fair gap between Takacs and Williams. So there should be a while before the front runners catch up to these guys, but they're battling away for sheep stations at the moment, back in 26th and 25th. We've got sheep stations, we've got the Australian weather coming out here in the Italian countryside, we've got the Australian slang, we've got it all happening at the moment in this Australian series. It's really turning it on for the last round.
It really is. I'm trying to think which Aussie phrase I will butcher next. We'll come to that shortly. But yeah, Williams, after serving the drive-through, now finds himself battling with Sinclair, the 2 Pro-Am drivers. Sinclair, of course, starting from the pits. Williams getting a free trip in to the pits. He was the first. He won't be the last. Don't worry about that. We've got Gordon in the Bentley. He's still trying to go past Sandwith, but Griffin has separated himself a bit and is catching up to the back very handily of King, the AM leader. He's up in 14th place, Isaac. He's getting there. A few more places to go. I'm in the top 10. It was predicted. Oh, wow. And Dernetti has found 0.8 of a second and half a lap to get that gap back down to 0.4, Isaac.
Maybe just cooling the tyres down, possibly, John. Maybe just trying to back off to cool the tyres down and then push again.
Yeah, well, like you say, it's not only the fact that there's no cool air going across the tyres. There's a serious lack of aerodynamic grip. These cars do rely heavily on aerodynamic and mechanical grip and braking. Of course, you've got your engine braking and things. But if there's no aerodynamics on the front of the car, when you jam on the anchors, the front of the car doesn't dip as much as is intended. And it's a lot more work that the tyres have to do. A lot more work that the tyres have to do. Take it from someone that can't drive. I know just how much that can exacerbate the lack of grip on the front, and Dernetti is just juggling that gap at the minute. But him and Bishop absolutely head and shoulders above the rest of the field. They've got a 5-second gap. Despite being in one another's pockets for the opening 24 minutes, they are absolutely tearing away from the rest of the field. And as Isaac said, I mean, we've still got an hour and 5 minutes left of this race, but Season 2, oh my giddy aunt. What a battle it is going to be between these two. Dernetti currently holding Bishop's full attention as well as the fastest lap of the race. Only 4:10 separate them. Once again, both of them making it through the second chicane nice and safely as we head to Death Zone Bend. Of course, I named it that after the console driver, Mr. Death Zone, Nelson Pinto. He performed an absolute worldie of an overtaker round the outside of a 3-wide situation he was forced into, Toza, and made it stick. It's still one of the greatest things. Oh, Isaac, genuinely one of the greatest things. That and Chad Rice overtaking someone around the outside at McPhillamy Park at Bathurst. Again,
that sounds like it's more impossible.
It really does, doesn't it? Round the outside of one of the parks at Bathurst, but yeah, absolutely nailed on overtaking that one there as well. At Toza that I saw. Just absolutely incredible overtaking, and we're going to see more of it here, I think, because Silver is all over the back of Burrows. We know that Porsche is very much out of contention when it gets to a straight line. Through this twisty stuff though, Burrows is going to have the advantage, and through the chicane, of course, down the hill and into Ravazza. Will there be a river crown? Look at the Ferrari already into the third chicane of the track. No, he's not. He pulls back out of it, and that is Nicholson then, who will be getting involved in this sooner rather than later if these two ahead cannot sort out their affairs. The top two, 4/10 separating them. Anyone surprised? Not in the slightest. The only surprise is Simmons has got the gap to within 5 seconds now. Machin clear in 4th place ahead of Green with Stankowski in 5th. Sheepers in 7th. Him and Crawley still having themselves a cracking little battle as well, but we'll stay on board with Silver in the Ferrari because I'm hugely biased towards Ferraris and make no apologies for it. Along the start-finish straight though, Isaac, you would think that the Ferrari is going to go for one into turn 1 here.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to shave up a move here on the inside of Anthony Burrows. Can he go deep enough to make that stick? Oh, there's contact between the two of them. And there's a slight overlap, and there was just a little bit of contact between Silver and Burrows, and that means that he's actually redressed the position. So he rolled out of it to make sure there was no further damage done. Was able to actually use his car, was Max Silver, to straighten Burrows back up, which has probably worked in his favour. Both cars will have a little bit of aerodynamic damage. I wouldn't think that contact was heavy enough for any suspension damage. But I was about to say, and they beat me, they did this before I could even get there. The key word, the word of the day is patience. It's just what you need around here. It's what you need in a 90-minute race. And that's Sheppers going deep into Aqua Minerale and going off, which is costing him the position to Dan Crawley. And again, we bring ourselves back to the argument of patience and just waiting. And you can see Dan Crawley there now back on the back of Stankowski. So Dan Crawley, after he ran out of patience in that overtake that saw him go off at turn 1, has now found himself back into a position where he can try and overtake Stankowski yet again for that P6. But I think that's just going to be what a lot of these guys need to show, John, is just a little bit, or actually a lot, of patience.
Indeed, yeah, patience is absolutely key. It seems very counterintuitive that one of the most important aspects of being a good driver is being able to be patient and size up those moves. You think it's all fast-paced. It's absolutely not. Just because you arrive at the back of another car doesn't mean you're automatically going to be able to overtake them. You need to size them up, find a chink in that armour. Ooh, and that is early for me. That's a non-drive-through pit stop. It's Carter coming in. Well, less than 30 minutes done of the race. 37-degree track temperature. He's going to do an hour on those tyres. Now, an hour is doable, but certainly he is going to be at the end of the tyre life when he comes into the pit. So that is an early pit stop there for Carter. I wonder, do you think, Isaac, will we see anyone else follow him in, or do we think he's going to be an outlier in this?
Definitely think he's an outlier, potentially maybe a 2-stop, but that'd be very brave. But with an hour to go in this race, I think he's going to be on his own here. I don't think anyone else is going to follow him in this early. Just looking at up and down the field, yeah, we did a few pit stop predictions before we got into the race, a few strategy predictions. And if you're going for a 2-stop, you do want to be stopping every half an hour. But, yeah, stopping with an hour to go when you only have to do 1. And here we go. Obviously. This is Martinetti looking to the outside. This is for the race lead. Deep under brakes is Martinetti, but I don't think he's going to be far up enough. And Simon Bishop, brilliant car positioning there on the inside of turn 1. But it's going to give Martinetti the better run, the better exit as they head down towards 5 and 6, the Villeneuve. But he's just backed out of it. That's a very bold place to overtake if you did decide to overtake through there into Tosa. This is a very tricky section of circuit to try and overtake as well. We've seen a couple guys try it, but it's not really going anybody's way. And I don't think we're going to see Martinetti bold enough to try through here again. We come back to my favourite word of the day, the word on the street, as they say in Sesame Street. It's patience is the word on the street today, and he's just got to show a little bit of that, does Martinetti. Clearly, with the fastest lap of the race, does have the speed to get by Simon Bishop. But we just asked the viewers watching in at home who they thought was going to win this race, and I would think it's one of these two. But if they get too racy, there could be a bit of contact, and the door could open for Matt Simmons and James Machin, who aren't too far off and are about to find themselves in a little battle of their own as well, because there's a second separating Matt Simmons and James Machin. Carter finds himself with a 30-second stop-go penalty.
Speeding in the pit lane.
That is harsh. Speeding in the pit lane, and that'll be the pit entry. It's a very, very quick pit entry. It sneaks up on you on the pit exit, and he's going to be absolutely kicking himself that he's received that for his troubles. He won't be very happy at all. That is Gray in the pit lane receiving repair for his damage. I wonder how our race leaders are going, because they were very close as they came onto the front straight. But I think Simon Bishop is, further ahead this time, coming into the turn, or into that now into turn 5 and 6. But they were doing a very good job at the front of not making contact with each other, which is huge when you're racing as close as you are for as long as you are. This is Dan Crawley still trying to find his way past Jono Stankowski, maybe just showing a little bit of that word on the street and just biding his time a little bit. Oh, as I say that, very deep into turn 1 again. Gone off, not as bad as last time, but he still is going to concede a position to Shepherd. So yet again, all that hard work that he used to get back past Shepherd's to get himself up onto the back of Stankowski is coming undone. And this is a man that, I'm jinxing everyone. I can't talk about anyone today. I think I might.
If any of the drivers want me to mute Isaac, just say the word. There's a magic button I can push and we can make the bad man go away. It's absolutely fine.
Just don't let me talk about anybody.
Indeed, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, let me talk about Machin and Simmons. We'll see if the both of them can stay on track for an overtake. If I can breathe through this hay fever. I do love this time of year. But Machin and Simmons, again, Machin, he's got a race-winning pedigree in this series. So does Dernetti and Bishop, and those two are within 3/10 out of the last corner. Simmons now 5.9 seconds down, so again... Oh, there we go. We've got a poll in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Race fans, young and old, get on there. Who do we think is going to win? Is it going to be Bishop? Is it going to be Dernetti? Or is it going to be someone else? As the commentators, it would be slightly unprofessional of us to make a pick at this point of the race, but I'm going to go for Bishop. I do.
Someone picked an Eddie. Oh, I thought we had a cheeky dive into the pits there. Might have been a little bit of a fake to throw them off there.
It was.
Shepherd's had a little bit of a look. Didn't catch anyone out though. No one was fooled.
No one fell for that one there. He tried to dive into pits to see if anyone would follow. Didn't work out. You need to be careful. I did see someone in a race last night try something similar in the rain and ended up in the pit wall at the Nürburgring on the way in.
Oh.
Full frontal assault on the pointy side of the fence on the left-hand side. That was one Ginetta that was not going anyplace. Will saying, I would try and undercut here, especially if capable of fastest lap. Will, that's a good idea. And Will saying it would be rude to not back the Aston. So Will going for Dernetti. I've thrown my hat in the ring with Bishop. But again, Dernetti, as has been pointed out there, Isaac, he's got the fastest lap. The undercut could well be on the cards as we see another car coming into the pits. This time it is Gordon who's come in. Great. Did we not see another car come in?
Gordon has come in. We're looking for Carter, who I cannot see.
Oh, Carter's not in the race anymore.
I cannot see Nick Carter. We're down to 25 cars. We started the race with 27, so I'm just trying to work out who else is missing from this race, but I do not see Nick Carter in this race, which means that he has DNF'd, unfortunately.
It would seem that his race has been as successful as his pop career. Yes, I went there. I'll see myself
we've got
out
another
later.
drive. We've got another 30-second stop go. Josh Gordon got himself a 30-second stop go, and that will sting, especially around here. It's such a long pit lane. It's such a short lap, so that is going to sting. We've got Shepherd's in the lane. Will we see another 30-second stop go when he comes out of the lane? Will we see everybody with a 30-second stop go? We've too busy predicting how many people are going to get track limit warnings. Maybe we should have predicted how many people were going to get 30-second stop-go penalties.
Yeah, I knew the track limits around here were difficult, but it seems that the pit limits are just as difficult for the drivers. That's Griffin joining Sheepers into the pits as the top two still duel it out with only half a second separating them. 35 minutes of absolute nose-to-tail racing. Although the gap at one point was at 1 second, and then Dernetti very quickly closed that back up to 0.3 of a second. We'll see if either of these two come into the pits with 20 laps elapsed. And still half a second of a gap out of the last corner. Nope, nothing doing for either of them. But I'll tell you what is doing for Dernetti. That little bit of slipstream there. They've got another back marker that they're going past. 35 minutes in and they're already lapping cars. It just is absolutely frightening. Gordon's going to be back in. And to be fair, when I used to race, I was very much lapped several times over. In fact, one of my greatest achievements in sim racing was to only be lapped once by the leaders instead of the usual 2 to 3 times. 30-second stop go for having too good of a livery on the car. That's what it is. Well, he was just looking too suave and sophisticated in the Bentley. We thought, you know what, you need an extra trip into the pits. Just to make sure it's extra clean. Sheppers has managed to navigate the pit lane safely, so too has Griffin, both of them in and out for their mandatory stop. And Griffin just getting out of the way there a bit too readily though for Stankovsky going through. He's going to cost himself a bit of time. Dernetti not costing himself any. And at this stage, Isaac, Astraf's coming into the pits. We really do have to marvel because, as you and I have talked about already, the track temperature's down 1 degree. It is warm out there. He's in the slipstream, so his tyres, his front tyres especially, the ones he needs to steer that car, are going to be in a much worse condition than Bishop's, who is running in that clear air up at the front. So Dernetti is going to have to be putting in a serious amount of work just to keep up here, and you would think the undercut has got to be something that he is planning to go for here.
Yeah, absolutely. As Will mentioned in the chat, that is Will Morgan, the man who actually won his debut race at Indianapolis last time out. So that is who is in the chat. So he'll be providing some really good insight. He's had a lot of experience in this game and in and around a lot of these blokes. So he'll know the way that a lot of them are probably thinking and how they'll go. But he is absolutely spot on. The undercut here, especially for someone like Mazzinetti, who has the fastest lap of the race, is going to be very powerful. And you're looking, yes, the track temperature is coming down a little bit, but it's not coming down enough for it to really make a difference. We started at 36 degrees, we went up to 37, we're back to 36. I would say if it stays this sunny, it's not going to change much between now and the end of the race. It's only going to get to about 4:30 in the afternoon. So in game time, I should say, not in real life time. We're not running that long for those of you who are in Australia. But
he's doing more coffee.
Yeah, a lot more coffee if we're going to survive that long. But no, I think the undercut is going to have to be the way to go if he wants to get past Simon Bishop here. But if there is any water that anyone spots at any point in this race on the circuit, I reckon it's the sweat that's coming out of the cockpit for Mazzinetti, because he will be sweating bullets at the moment. He'll be pushing so hard just to keep up with Simon Bishop. And there is potential as well. We haven't really thought about this too much. There is potential that Simon Bishop is just doing a little bit of cruising at the moment to look after those tyres. So there could be more pace in that number 2 BMW. We just don't know, because it's so crucial to look after the tyres at this stage of the race that he could just be lapping around at the moment and not pushing too hard. There's a car in front of him that's blue flags. It's one of the McLaren Motorsport guys not getting out of the way. And that is crucial, because you need to get out of the way if you are a lapped car, and that took forever. So you saw Simon Bishop had to do a double move there to try and avoid, and he will not be happy. This is Matt Simmons into the lane. So this is crucial. He was in a battle with James Machin. He's going for the undercut to maintain track position at 50 minutes. So we've had 40 minutes of racing elapsed so far, and Matt Simmons already into the lane for his stop. So he'll drop down the order. We've got Matt Boyd also in the lane. So 2 of the 3 Matts have come in for their stop now. And you can see Sheppers is the highest placed driver currently that has served their stop and come back out onto the circuit. Ashraf is the next highest driver that has stopped and is back out on the circuit. So where will Matt Simmons spit out? You'd think he'd spit out a fair way ahead of Sheppers, considering the gap between them. That is Max Silva into the lane. So the 75 Ferrari now coming in for his mandatory pit stop. So a lot of guys coming in early, which tells me, John, the tyres are not holding up the way that we were expecting them to.
And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially with the track temperature slightly changing and the drivers being as close to one another as they are. And Will saying good gauge of the undercut here, and yeah, it certainly will be. Good gauge in the chat. Remember, we have in the YouTube chat, we've got a pinned poll for you all to take part in. Who do we think is going to win the race? I can say at the moment 25% of voters think it's going to be someone other than the current top two. 25% of voters think it's going to be the current race leader, Simon Bishop. 50% of voters have voted for this man on screen, the never ever ever in anyone's eyes were you ever a pro-am, Dernetti. 50% of the votes, so 4 votes so far for the Aston Martin driver. So Aston Martin fans, Dernetti fans, all jumping on board, and in fact that is the Bentley that they've just gone past there, as well as Tame comes in to the pit. So they're all coming in just short of the halfway mark. So I think we're going to see the race leaders coming in very shortly indeed. At the moment, Twinning can confirm is now ahead on track of Porsche GT by virtue of the fact that Porsche GT is into the pits to take his pit stop. There is Tame pulling to a stop there. Now 1.1 seconds separating the top two. We're going to see more changes, and I think we're potentially going to see Sinclair go past Twinning as well. The two Aston Martins having themselves a beautiful balletic battle on the way down into Aqua Minerale, and in fact just a bit deep there by Sinclair, so it's going to give Twinning an extra tenth or two and should keep him clear into the final chicane. Well, how will he get though? Got on though in and out of Ravazza. They have got another back marker just ahead of them. There is Liam Tame on his way out of the pits. No penalty for him. Simmons is through.
Not yet. Simmons is through. Simmons was ahead of Liam Tame before the stop. So, as Will has said, there we go, 30-second stop go. So I didn't want to call it too early because he hadn't left the pit lane yet. And he now has got stung with one, so that is crucial. He was at the back end of the top 10, so that is going to be huge, and he will be kicking himself. He's not the only one. Porsche GT has been stopped for a fair while, so hopefully he gets rolling soon, because bit of damage, there you go. So he'll be repairing that damage on the car.
Yeah, you can just about make out the bonnet and front bumper. There's a bit of separation. You can see that black line on the beautiful white livery.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's going to be getting some damage repaired. He just needs to finish though, as he well knows. Here's Stankovsky coming in to the pits as well, as we are a minute and a half away from the halfway mark of the final round of the AGT ACC Season 1. What an 8 rounds it's been, and what a round 8 it's been. Dernetti and Bishop are still leading the way though, Isaac. Again, we need to reinvent the thesaurus to come up with superlatives to describe the way these two drive. Bishop led the way, absolutely stoic up at the front of the field, and Dernetti has been his shadow for the, or it would be his shadow if the sun wasn't directly above and absolutely cooking their poor brains out. But Dernetti, he has been right there with them, and they've now got a 10-second gap over the rest of the field, just on the halfway mark. It is absolutely wild, the talent these two drivers have, and the battle down to the end. I mean, as you say, Bishop might be cruising, Dernetti might just be biding his time. It's all going to play out through the pit stops and over that final time.
That was close with the back marker coming out of the pits. That was very close. That was Georgie Takacs leaving the lane, and Mazzanetti got caught out in a very awkward spot there. I do have to, so Jonathan Stankowski gets away with no stop-go penalty. So he's done well. Liam Tame now in the lane to serve his 30-second stop-go penalty for his drive-through. But if I was Matt Zanetti, and I'm not Matt Zanetti, so I can't make him do this, but I would be pitting this lap, because you've got Simon Bishop in front of you, who is fast. He's a fast driver, and we've seen just how powerful the undercut is around here. We've had Will talking about it in the chat. We've been discussing it as well, especially with the track temperature. We're down to 35 degrees now. You want to come in pretty much now. If you're not coming in this lap, then I'd say you're going to run the risk of coming in at the same time as Liam Tame. We can see a lot of drivers now coming into the lane now that we've reached that halfway mark. So the question now becomes, as they come through the final sector now, what does Matt Zanetti do? Does he come into the lane, or does he just stay out and just follow what Simon Bishop does? But I think if you want track position, if you want to jump that man in front of you who you've been following about that distance, about barely meters between you for the entire race,
going to be an overtaking
you want to come in. And here we go. This is going to be it. This is going to be crucial track position. We talked about how crucial the undercut could be. Maybe he can get it done on track. Simon Bishop covering the inside line as they run down towards turn 1, which means Matt Zanetti, is going to have to go the long way. Simon Bishop positions the car perfectly there, so it's not technically a double move. He's just following the curve of the road, but positions the car just well enough that Matt Zanetti has to back out before he can send it up the inside, because that would have to be a very confident send. This is a very tricky section to follow closely, so he's just had to let out of the throttle maybe a little bit more than he wants to. And this is what I was saying, coming in earlier than Simon Bishop gives you clean air, hopefully, if there's not too many back markers around you, but gives you the chance to just push as hard as you want on tyres that would be the ideal temperature coming out of the lane. They wouldn't be too overcooked yet. Simon Bishop pushing the track limits to the absolute max there. I wonder how many track warnings these two have got. Maybe not too many, I would think, but at least have 1 or 2 potentially between the two of them. And Frank Horvath, 30-second stop-go penalty, so that's another driver finding themselves with a 30-second stop-go. And the Imola pit lane continues to bite. I've lost count. I think we're up to at least 4 or 5 now.
5.
And we'll check back in with our
5 or 6.
5. There you go.
Yeah.
Keeping a tally. And we're up to 5 drivers with a 30-second stop-go. Only 1 driver with the drive-through for track limits so far. And that is surprising to me. Actually, it's not really surprising, but I thought we would have had more drive-throughs by now for track limits. Here we go. Are they going to come in? They're going to follow each other in. And that, for Matt Zanetti, for me, is the wrong move. He should have come in earlier, I think. And I can't make him do anything, obviously. I'm not his race engineer, but I think he needed to come in earlier to give himself key track position.
Yeah, I think it would have been a good idea. My next question was, is Machin going to follow in? But before I could even ask it, Machin is in. So I'm thinking, oh no, Green's going to stay out. He is going to take a lap in the lead of the race. Burrows is a bit back. There is Green going through his Bishops that I'm looking for. So they're stationary. Machin is pulling in. Sandwith is a fair bit back. So here comes Simmons. Heavily down the gears through Aqua Minerale there. Absolutely loved the sound of that Mercedes. If you don't enjoy the sound of the Mercedes GT3 car, I'm not sure you're a race fan, I'm going to be honest. But yeah, just to clarify for anyone that isn't in, we did have the question, where is the stop go 30 from? Speeding in the pit lane is a drive-through, ain't it? But as I was saying, there is 2 different penalties. One is for speeding on the way in, and one is for speeding on the way out. One will get you a stop go 30, the other will get you a drive-through. So we could actually see drivers get a drive-through from the pit exit. Bishop is back out in front by exactly the same gap as it was when they went in. Dernetti, Dernetti with a slightly slower stop there, and there's a big back marker just gone flying through, and Bishop will be enjoying that. It says that Machin's ahead of him. I can confirm that Bishop is leading the way once there we go. We'll get that sorted out. There it is, confirmation. Bishop back out in the net lead of the race. But more importantly for him, he has got another car separating him from Dernetti. That gives Dernetti a real uphill struggle then if he's going to bring home this win. And another driver picking
Oh,
up
no.
a stop-go 30-second
Mark Sinclair.
penalty. That is not the type of consistency the drivers want to be sharing, Isaac.
No, absolutely not. That is not a penalty that they want to be having, especially for Mark Sinclair. He's looking to come back in this race to finish ahead of Griffin. You can see he's only 4 places behind him at the moment, and that's for third place in the Pro-Am Championship, and that's not what you want when you're fighting for third place in a Pro-Am Championship, is a 30-second stop-go penalty. So he will be probably quite frustrated with that. Hasn't gone his way today. Porsche GT is leading the way over Clayton Twining, who's in the pit lane serving his mandatory stop. So he is making sure that his mandatory stop is out of the way, but Porsche GT is ahead of him and already stopped. So he's doing what he needs to do to make sure that he wins this championship. Twining has not cleared his mandatory stop either. Still see the little 1 next to his name, which means that he has missed something somewhere, and the game has decided that is not good enough, and you have not served your stop. Josh Green from the lead of the race is into the lane to serve his mandatory stop, and Les Samwith now is the guy out in front with Simon Bishop right behind him. He's got Simon Bishop right behind him, but he doesn't have to give this up, does Les, LJ, as he's affectionately known in the YouTube space. Simon's going to have a look up the inside into Tosa. Can he make that stick? He's very talented. Yes, he can. Absolutely, he can. That is a beautiful move. And Liam Tame, who's recovering from a 30-second stop-go penalty that he was issued with for his troubles on speeding into the pit lane, is now in right behind Les Samwith as well. He is a back marker, so he won't want to be holding up Matt Zanetti behind. He will want to have to let him go, although, saying that, him and Simon Bishop are teammates, but I think he's going to get out of the way here. Is he? Yes, he is. That's great work there from Liam Tame, just to recognise that, yes, he's about probably as fast as these guys, but it's not his race to run. He has to get out of the way. Les Samwith, however, doesn't have to get out of the way and doesn't look like he's going to. He does indicate to Matt Zanetti to maybe go up the inside here into the second last corner, into turn 17. Yes, he does. That's brilliant from Matt Zanetti. Nice up the inside into the first Ravazza and through the second Ravazza down towards the front straight, turn 19, and then a long turn. That's technically turn 19 right there. It's just a little kink in the road. I wouldn't even call it a turn, to be honest. But that is great. So that is the gap now between first and second on track. You can see about 2 seconds, which is crucial for Matt Zanetti. He has got the pace in that Aston Martin. We do know that. We also know Simon Bishop is making that BMW about as wide as Fernando Alonso was a couple of years ago at Hungary.
That was very wide indeed, yes, I remember that. That was a fun one. But yeah, Bishop and Dernetti, they're going to continue their battle. Dernetti's going to have to do a fair bit of work though to reel him back in. He certainly would have been planning on being a lot closer at this stage of the race, given the way the first stint played out. But at the minute, this is the hand he's been dealt. Will saying as well in the chat, I don't think I've ever stopped on the marks in a pit stop, always lose at least a second. Yes indeed, it's not the easiest to do. The poll has completed. Can confirm 22% of voters think that someone other than Bishop or Dernetti are going to win. We've got 22% of voters that think Bishop is going to win. A whopping 55%. Well, 56 if you do the maths. I'm not sure where the other 1%'s gone, if there was only 3 options, but 56% have voted for Matt Dernetti, and I tell you what, that vote is suddenly looking a whole lot better as he finds 3/10 of a second through that sector, and I think he's found another 2/10 through Ravazza. He is definitely looking the quicker of the two. Visibly you can see that gap close down, although visibly you can see the BMW go bye-bye. It really does get out. I mean, the Aston Martin, once it gets going, it gets up to speed. But that BMW, the instant acceleration you get with corners in that thing, is absolutely ungodly. And Bishop is going to need to use every single ounce of that he can if he's going to hold on to this race win. Sorry, Isaac.
No, you're all good. I was just going to say, crucially, that track temperature is down to 34 degrees now, so the track is cooling even more, which will be great for Matt Zanetti, because those tyres, you can see just how much speed he carries compared to Simon Bishop, and just how much time he has found in that first sector alone, which tells me that he is thriving in these conditions, John.
And I'm on mute to sneeze there, my apologies. Hay fever, love it. But yeah, he is running very well. Thank you very much, Appy Fi on TrackSpotTV's Twitch. We've got a follow there. We'll need to get the bots working so I get better notifications for that. And remember, if you are watching on YouTube and you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, you're likely to incur my Scottish wrath. Nobody wants that. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe on the AGT channel. Season 2 is coming soon. We've still got 34 minutes of Season 1 to... for our viewing pleasure. Champions will be crowned. And in fact, speaking of champions, I know we're watching the overall race leaders. Let me do some fancy camera work. And let's talk about Porsche GT, Isaac. He's currently running in 3rd place. He knew that all he needed to do was make it to the end of the race. The race gods tested him. He had a bit of an incident, picked up a fair bit of damage. He was stationary for quite some time, but he has done exactly what he needed to do. He's kept it between the mail and the mustard for the majority of the race. He's got himself on the podium, but more importantly, he's well ahead of Twining, and he is well on his way to finishing this one spectacularly and becoming the AM champion in 33 minutes time.
Yeah, he's doing a great job at the moment to make sure that he is lined up to take the win in the AM class. So obviously that'll be results pending. There may have been a little bit of contact. We saw damage on his car earlier, which means there may have been a little bit of contact with another driver, but still, at the moment, he's doing everything he needs to do to put himself in the prime spot to get that AM class win. You can see, speaking of AM drivers, Sam King up into 14th place at the moment, doing a great job in the 59 Mustang, filling in for James Hammond tonight. And he is charging towards that top 10. He's a bit off the back of Ashraf. And this is Stankowski and Shepard. So Stankowski, following his stop, has lost to the drivers that did the undercuts. That's Crawley and Shepard. Both did the undercut in this race to make sure that they got up the order. And Stankowski has meant, staying out longer, has meant that he's fallen behind both of them. He's right on the back of Shepard, though. And track temperature's dropped another degree, so we're down to 33 degrees in track temperature. So it's starting to fall quite rapidly now, if you will, which is very exciting for me, because that means that we can see the cloud cover back over, the tyre life is coming up, which means the faster laps are going to start coming, and Matt Zanetti is within a second of Simon Bishop at the front. Within half a second. Within half a second. Look how close he is. But this is where Simon Bishop thrives. He spent pretty much the last hour, has Matt Zanetti, under the rear wing of Simon Bishop. And Simon Bishop has not given him any sort of breathing room to even really get a move past. We saw that really bold move around the outside into turn 1 earlier on in the race, but that's been about it in terms of what Simon Bishop's been able to give him so far. So this is something that Matt Zanetti's going to have to work hard for, and this is going to be a very, very sweaty half an hour in the Zanetti household, especially in that sim seat for Matthew. 24 years of age, and he is pushing as hard as he can to catch one of the men that has been around in the AusNZ, Australia, New Zealand racing scene for quite a few years now in Simon Bishop. This man has a pedigree. I'm just going to read to you really quickly some of the things this man has done. If I can find my little list. Here he is, Simon Bishop. The 2024 Assetto Corsa Competizione AusNZ Enduro Season Champion. He was the 2019 Nürburgring World Tour Manufacturers Champion for Gran Turismo 7. He's a New Zealand sim racing celebrity. Everywhere he goes, everyone knows who he is. And he's won multiple championships in both Gran Turismo and Assetto Corsa Competizione. So this man, Simon Bishop, very well versed. Matt Zanetti, he's got a pole in AusNZ last time out of Indianapolis. He almost won at Zolder, and he's been very quick across the AGT season. But this is really the first time we've seen what he can do in a race car on Assetto Corsa as this championship been. So it's been great to see him come out of his shell, to try something new and to absolutely thrive at it. Speaking of people who are thriving at the moment. Stankowski's found his way past Sheppers up into 7th place, so he's clawing back some of those positions that he lost by waiting longer to pit. And now he's got a 10-second gap to Dan Crawley in front, which I'd say Crawley was able to eke out based on the battle that those two were having. And look how close they are now, John. It's closing right up, and it's back to where it was, and it's business as usual.
It is, yeah. The closing 30 minutes look like they're going to mirror the opening 30 minutes, or will they? Will Dernetti find that killer move? He's got that purple moniker next to his name. He has got the fastest lap of the race, but you'd have to say the most consistent laps have come from Bishop. He has been out in front and he has led the entire way. He has put the car exactly where he needs to and made it nigh on impossible for Bishop to get past it so far. But the young pretender to the crown has got the bit between his teeth, and to bring home the overall race win in the final round of season 1 will lay down quite the marker to the rest of the field for season 2. Season 2, of course, will be live as well, and Mr. Isaac Fogarty will be taking us through all of the proceedings. I unfortunately won't, due to work commitments, be back, and I'm absolutely gutted. I can assure you though, I will have one earphone in during the Friday meetings to make sure I can keep up with all the action. So again, get on the following, the liking, the subscribing, get into the Discord. I believe there is still spaces left for season 2, so get yourself signed up. It's going to be absolutely incredible, and at the end of the race you can save the replay and watch how these two do their laps, and I guarantee you will get quicker because if you can't improve after watching these two, then you might just be a lost cause, I'm afraid to say, but it is certainly not a lost cause, the race win. Dernetti, he's had the votes in the chat, the viewers fancy him for the race win, and at this point it's going to be difficult to look past him because he has closed that gap. 2.2 seconds he was behind from coming out of the pits, and he has absolutely mullered that gap. It's back down to 4/10. He's back in that slipstream. His tyres are going to be feeling the pain, not quite as much as the first stint though. 4 degrees off the track temperature since before they came into the pit, so definitely moving into the driver's favour. Slightly less blistering, you would think. Although speaking of blistering, Machin going at an absolutely blistering pace as well. He's got Simmons just ahead of him in the Mercedes, and they're 8 seconds down, so it just goes to show you how much pace these two up at the top have got, Isaac. But Simmons and Machin, this is for a podium in the pros, of course, with Dernetti currently in the Pro-Ams. Simmons is second in the pros, Machin is third, so we're seeing a great battle for the overall race win, but the pros, that podium is nowhere near decided with 27 to go.
No, and it's going to be on for quite some time. Josh Green, 19 seconds back from these guys, so I don't think he's going to be a factor in this battle for the podium. But we saw Simmons had pulled out a fair gap to James Machin. He came in early. Here we go. Machin having a look to the outside of Simmons. Very bold to get right to the edge of the circuit. Simmons positioning the car in a very awkward position to make sure it was difficult for Machin to get by. And he can't quite get the move done that time. There's shades of what we saw Dernetti and Bishop doing earlier on in the race. These guys pushing each other quite hard at the moment and making sure that there's no room left on the table for either of them when we get to the end of this race. I want to leave everything out there with only 26 minutes left in Season 1. Sam King up into 13th place now, so only 3 cars in front of him to get himself into the top 10, and that would be an AM driver in the top 10, which would be absolutely awesome here at Imola. But you can see a fair spread of cars up and down the field. For the most part, AMs, Pro-Ams sorted into their classes. A couple Pros and a couple AMs spattered in here and there. You can see Adam Gray down in 18th place at the moment, struggling for pace in that Ferrari. Liam Tame still in 16th place, and he's got company right behind him as Adam Gray from what looked like a Aston Martin, maybe trying to unlap themselves. But Liam Tame sort of in no land's land at the moment. And there we go. We can see, yeah, that is see what car number that is. That's the 555 of Mark Sinclair trying to unlap himself at the moment. Clayton Twining yet again in the pit lane. So not the day for the man who was trying to take out the AM Championship from Porsche GT. So not quite the day that Clayton Twining wanted. But here we go. This is getting very racy again at the front. We've just come off the back of another move. Here we go. This is it for the podium. Around the outside from James Machen. Under braking. Gets it done. That was absolutely beautiful. There's a bit of contact between the two of them. Machen is in the wall. And that looked like a slight front to rear contact. Matt Simmons has slowed up to wait for James Machen to go. So that does confirm there was contact between the two of them. Matt Simmons done the right thing there and waited. Just looks like a slight front to rear contact.
I'm going to be honest, I think
corner, it's so easy to unsettle the car.
I think there was a bit of net code there as well. From what I saw on my screen, there was a slight bit of teleportation. So I do genuinely think that angle we had, there was a bit of contact. I do think net code played a part in that one as well, unfortunately. And of course the world famous ACC contact physics. Facepalm.
But yeah, contact physics.
Oh. They're a steward's worst nightmare. They really are. Speaking of Simon Bishop's worst nightmare, it's Matt Dernetti. It's the fastest car on track. It's an Aston Martin. We've got less than 25 minutes left to go of the final round, and these two up at the top are still absolutely inseparable. And now we can see them catching up to King in 14th place. So they're looking to lap half the field while separating themselves from the chasing drivers at an absolute monstrous pace. There we go. Goes past King. King very handily getting himself out of the way just before the braking zone of turn 2. Of course, the first chicane. Will saying he's been struggling. Clayton Twining unfortunately had disconnection. Clayton.
Oh no.
That is unfortunate. It's an ill wind that blows nobody some good. That does mean, of course, sorry Clayton to do this straight away, but that does mean that fully confirms Porsche GT will be the ARM winner if he can make it to the end of the race. Now he's currently third. So he's going to bring home another podium. So it's been an absolutely solid season. But yeah, Clayton, we're looking forward to seeing you again next season. Great driving, so close to bringing home a championship. Second in this field is absolutely no mean feat. Been struggling with rubber banding in ACC, makes it very hard to stay close. It does. Yep, the rubber banding in ACC can be particularly bad. Thankfully, we're not seeing any up at the front between these two. And in fact, we're not seeing much daylight between the two of them once again. Dernetti really is making sure that Bishop knows he is there. And again, you want to talk about engine sounds. Actually, here's what I want to talk about, Isaac. Track temperature is down to 32 degrees. The wind is up to 3 kilometres an hour, and that is double cloud cover.
That is... Well, we've only got 22 minutes left in this race, and the 30-minute forecast says there's no rain, which makes me think, unless something drastic happens, we're not going to get any rain. But that is very exciting, because it means that we're basically going to get quali laps for the end of this race, because the track temperature is going to come right down now. So everyone's going to be pushing as hard as they can. You can see a Ferrari in front of these two guys at the moment. He'll be a lapped car and have to get out of the way soon enough. But only 3/10 between these two cars. They've been inseparable all race. I don't think either of these drivers have had a chance to breathe, except for when they were in the pit lane for 30 seconds. So they've done I'm running out of superlatives. They've done a stellar job to be as close as they have been for this entire race, to not make any major mistakes, to not make contact with each other. It's brilliant, and I take my hat off to them. James Machen has done a brilliant job as well. He's now pulled out 1.5 seconds to Matt Simmons, so that gap has grown for third place. Josh Green 9 seconds off the back of Matt Simmons now. So, here we go. It was a bad exit for Simon Bishop. That rare mistake we're talking about him making. And this has been the perfect opportunity presented for Matt Dernetti. They're going to go side by side into the chicane. Brilliant room left by the two drivers. This is brilliant racing. So much respect, as John said, between both drivers. At the moment, we're going to come down towards turn 17. They're still going side by side. This has not stopped, and it's still going into the first Ravazza, into the second Ravazza. Matt Dernetti will not come out on top. Simon Bishop holds on for now, but look how close these two drivers are, as we go through turn 19, technically turn 19, I don't count it as a corner, down towards, this is turn 1. We're going to head up towards turn 2 and 3. He's going to go to the outside now. Is Matt Zanetti looking for that move? And Simon Bishop goes just deep enough that he can hold on to track position. But that was a rare mistake on the exit of Aqua Minerale for Simon Bishop. Matt Zanetti knew he had to capitalise, and he did. But Simon Bishop, he's just a world-class driver and was able to hold on. Brilliant respect between both of those drivers.
Yeah, that is the word of the day now. The amount of respect shown. We talked about how narrow this track is. To go through the final chicane side by side, and then through Ravazza side by side, and then go through the first chicane side by side. Absolute pinpoint driving. If anyone that has driven ACC, you know. If you haven't driven ACC, I can assure you that that was absolutely incredible. Will saying that right there is why I love racing Simon. Yeah, absolutely mesmerised. There's championships on the line, there's pride on the line, there's I'm here for season 2 on the line as well, and both drivers keeping it as clean as a whistle through a very difficult sector on a very difficult track, and both coming out completely unscathed. There was a piece of paper, a piece of newspaper between the two of them on the previous lap coming out of this corner, and no contact was made. No wing mirrors were harmed in the overtaking action, and that is a bit of a rarity, Isaac. And again, these two are absolutely incredible, and they're going to be at it again for season number 2. The championship in season 2 will not be decided until the final flag of the final race. You've heard it here first.
Yeah, I completely agree with that sentiment. It's going down to the final race next season, and to make it even better, CP Motorsports are moving across to the BMW next season, so both of these guys will be in the same car. So we've talked about a few times, they've joked throughout the week, equal machinery. But the last time that two drivers were in equal machinery was, that I can recall, that it got that close, was Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. And if Simon Bishop is Lewis Hamilton and Matt Zanetti's Nico Rosberg, we all remember who came out on top in 2016 in that battle. So Matt Zanetti will be a force to be reckoned with next season, and I can absolutely see him taking this fight to Simon Bishop throughout season 2. And there's 10 rounds, so we've got 2 more rounds of racing that these two will be going at it for. 2 endurance races as well, so they're going to have co-drivers factoring in to that racing, or to the racing there as well. So that'll be something to definitely keep an eye on. But we've still got 17 minutes of racing left in season 1. It's not over yet, and here we go. Matt Zanetti, a brilliant run through the first Ravazza. Can he get a nice run through the second Ravazza to line himself up well? He's right under the rear wing of Simon Bishop as they run down the front straight. That's not really a straight, it's a bit of a curve. But here we go, he's sizing up Simon Bishop into turn 1, has to look to the outside again because of where Simon Bishop places the car, and that's brilliant car placement from Simon Bishop into the braking zone of turn 1. Just brakes in a straight line, makes it super awkward for Matt Zanetti, I should say, to try and get past. And he gets a really nice run, I'm seeing, through towards the Villeneuve for turns 5 and 6. But it's just not a place you can overtake. It's just not an overtaking spot, which would be frustrating for Matt, because he gets a brilliant run out of turns 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. So out of 2, 3, 4 complex. But it's just not a place to overtake.
No, there are places at Imola you can overtake, and there are places you definitely can't. And as you said there, yeah, that is definitely not the easiest place to get it done. Bishop keeping the car exactly where he needs to, lap on lap. And yeah, seeing these two in the same cars next season, that is going to be worth every single moment of time dedicated to watching and taking part. They've got 15 minutes left to go. Dernetti, is he going to bring home the race win? He's got the fastest lap under his belt. We should give a quick shout out to Dan Crawley as well. Pro-Am, he's going to be winning the championship. He's won the championship, I believe. And no, was it Crawley that won the championship, sorry?
Yes, it is Crawley.
Yeah, it's Crawley. He's currently running in 6th place, but we're talking about potentially an Am getting into the top 10. We've got Crawley almost in that top 5. He's managed to avoid the penalties, and my prediction of track limit warnings, drive-throughs, has gone completely out the window. We've seen one of those so far, and we've seen, what, 6 stop-go 30-second penalties. We've got Tame making his way back through the field. We've been completely glued to the top 2. There is still another 23 drivers racing, I promise. But these two providing all of the fireworks. So, quick rundown. Well, Dernetti, who's been on screen, he's going to bring home the Pro-Am win. One way or another. Crawley in 2nd for the championship win, with Nicholson in 3rd. And then it is King. Great race by King. Up into 14th place. Mr. T, he is pitying no fools as he is bringing home 2nd place in the AMS, and Porsche GT will be crowned champion as he lets the overall race leaders go through. So that's twice they've gone past the AM champion. Oh, and he's made a mistake. Curse to the commentator, it's my turn. Oh.
We both need to stop mentioning drivers.
Yes, we do.
That's massive damage on the front of the number 5. That's absolute. Look at that. There's a big hole in the bonnet, actually, in the front of that number 5 Mustang. Luckily, it's a rear-engined or mid-engined car, so there's no engine in the front of that car to be damaged. It's just all bodywork. That is a massive spin. Just took too much curb coming through turn number 9, and it just sent the car sideways. He's basically turning left to go right at that point. And was not what he wanted. So he may try and stick it out with only 13 minutes to go, or he could come into the lane and seek repairs, considering that championship is pretty much safe for him, and he just has to bring the car home at this point to wrap it up. But what is not wrapped up and far from over is this battle at the front, and it's still going on. As you mentioned, there is 23 other cars in the race, and I'm just seeing that Liam Tame in 16th has caught up to the back of Andrew Griffin for 15th, and I believe that is position gain. So it is. So Liam Tame's actually jumped Griffin and Sam King and finds himself up into 14th. So the charge forward for the AM driver to get inside the top 10 is now going a little bit backwards, with Liam Tame trying to make up for that 30-second stop go that he found himself with earlier on in the race weekend. And you can see Simon Bishop here. 0.3 is the gap at the last timing split between 1st and 2nd place. James Machin is a fair way off the back of these guys. 24 seconds off the back of Matt Donetti. That gap, not too long ago, was about 15 seconds. It's grown out by almost 10 seconds, which is absolutely crazy. These two at the front are just in a league of their own, which just reinforces that they should be in a separate class that we just title Alien for Season 2. And just look at the way that Matt Donetti is using those curbs through turns 14 and 15. He is super aggressive with the body language of that Aston Martin at the moment, saying, I am here, please let me past. He's been working so hard for this. He really wants it. You can tell that he really wants it. He should have had it at Zolder, but a mistake in the second last corner meant that he ran deep, and Simon Bishop got back past to take the race win. Here we go. He's sizing up to the outside again. There's an overlap that's been established. The side draft will be working in Matt Donetti's favour now. Is he going to be close enough up to make the move stick into turn 2? Not quite. It's going to be another version of the same story we've been seeing, which is that Simon Bishop positions the car on the inside line and then just is able to park on the apex to avoid Matt Donetti getting by. And it's not really a complex of corners you can go side by side in. So they find themselves yet again with that same tale of woe for Matt Donetti. Gets alongside, but just can't quite get past.
Indeed, yeah. Gordo96 in Discord says that his game has crashed, so we're down to 24. Unfortunately.
Josh Gordon, that is a shame.
Ah, Jay Gordon, right, okay. I was trying to think of someone whose first initial was G, but no, Gordon's his surname. Yeah, that is massively unfortunately. Kunos, please sort out the console version of this game. Look at the talent we've got on display here at AGT ACC Season 1. The Round 8 finale is almost at its finale, but do not worry, the fireworks are still ready to be lit with 10 minutes left to go. We've seen how close these two can get side by side through any corner they feel like. They don't care at Imola. All they know is there's race wins up for grabs, and they're absolutely going for it. We've got Arnie in the chat. These commentator voices are giving me the hots. Arnie, welcome in. Good morning. How are you? My name is Dr. John Kimball. I'll be your substitute teacher for the day. Yeah, a terrible Army impression there, my apologies. But yeah, welcome in, I hope you're enjoying it. If you're enjoying it that much, please do hit the thumbs up, give the channel a like and subscribe. Brought to you, of course, by TrackSpotTV. Here, the AGT ACC Season 1 finale coming to a close. It's been an absolutely incredible season. 3 worthy champions being crowned, and an emerging talent coming to the fore in the shape of Matt Dernetti. He's got the fastest lap of the race, but he's still got a BMW rear spoiler ahead of him, and that has been the case for 90% of the race so far. And will it be the same for 9 minutes to go? The majority of the votes, I'm stumbling over my words here, 56% of voters went for Dernetti to take the win, Isaac, and at this point it is still an absolute coin flip between the two of them, with only 6 tenths separating them.
Yeah, this is still going. This has been going for the last hour and 20 minutes, and we haven't stopped watching. There's been a race going on throughout the field, and we haven't seen many other cars. Liam Tame has closed up to the back of Les Sandwith, and I believe that will be a move that he'll get himself back up into 13th place, which will be great for him on his comeback charge through the field. But we just haven't been able to take our eyes off this. It's been absolutely brilliant. I do want to point out as well, Matt Simmons has closed back up within a second of James Machen. So the battle for the podium is starting to heat back up with only 8 minutes to go. And Josh Green is 3 seconds off the back of those guys. There he is in the background. There's Josh Green. So the podium is far from over. The race lead decision is far from over. Porsche GT has repaired his damage, down in 22nd now, 4th in class. Liam Tame is past Les Sandwich, so he just got the overtake done, which means that he's now up into 13th place. And Mazzinetti still within half a second of Simon Bishop, which is a phrase we're getting used to saying. That is George Takacs off in the background. And he is a few laps down. He's just been lapped yet again. And then we've got another Ferrari in front who will be going a lap down on the leaders. But it's not deterring the battle between these guys. Les Sandwith gets past Liam Tame again, who I believe has made a mistake somewhere. So Liam Tame off the circuit and is now moving again, but that's costly. He was up into 13th, and he's pulling to the side to let the faster car go. And done a great job there to make sure he gets out of the way of Josh Green, who is pushing as hard as he can to catch these guys in front. He's now 2.5 seconds off the back of Matt Simmons, so he's eating into that deficit at the front. And so Matt Simmons is right on the back of James Machen now as well, so that's still about 8 tenths at the moment. So that's good. They're all going to sort of converge on each other as this race comes to a close. 27 seconds is James Machen off the back of Mazzinetti, and 6 tenths it's Mazzinetti to Simon Bishop. And we've got 6 minutes to go, which means we've probably got about 4 laps left in this race. The cloud coverage is still sticking around. The track temperature is still at 32 degrees, so we haven't seen too much more of a drop in the temperature. But I'm very, very excited for what is about to unfold in these last 6 minutes.
Indeed, yeah. We've got a lot of people in the YouTube chat. I think it might be one of your parents. It's someone saying they are your biggest fan. So obviously got to be a relative. I'm looking. Fat Furby, welcome in. You got to be joking, 97. I usually am, to be fair. Thanks very much. But yeah, welcome in to everyone in the chat. They're trying to make Isaac blush at the moment. Rumour has it Foggy has a new gig with V8 Supercar commentary now as well. But yeah, we've got a lot of people saying, can someone tell Dernetti to send it, please? My anxious anticipation cannot take it anymore. That's a fair point, well made, because these two have kept it on an absolute knife edge. AGT outsourcing jobs to Scotland. Now, well, actually what happened was Matt Dernetti had to get a restraining order against Isaac. He kept finding him camped out in his back garden, so as part of his community service, he had to let me into the comedy box. So that's how that one was decided. I won't make the series. LJ in the race is famous. Everyone in this race is famous. They're the drivers that got lapped by Bishop and Ternetti. Sorry.
I should. They're all wonderful. They're all wonderful people. Look,
it doesn't make them bad people getting lapped by these two. That's for sure.
No, absolutely not. And because these guys are in a complete class of their own. You can see just the gap between Mazzanetti and James Machen. These guys have been on another level all race. They're just churning out fastest lap after fastest lap. Look how close they are. 2/10 at the line. Mazzanetti's going to have a little bit of a look here, but he's not going to be close enough this time to make anything stick. Only 4.5 minutes to go, which means it's getting to the point where it's now or never for Mazzanetti if he wants this race win. And he is closer than ever to the back of Simon Bishop. He's just had to see, you can see there the difference in what he has to, in how early he has to brake for that corner. And that's one, the aero wash that he will feel on the front end of that car. You talked about earlier on in the race, John, the lack of downforce on the front end of the car. He runs a little bit wide on the grass there, hard in mouth stuff there for a second for Mazzanetti, but just the lack of front aero downforce on the car to help it to stop. And also, when you go to turn in, if you've got dirty air in front of you, you try to rotate the car, it's not going to rotate the way you want it to. This is Josh Green right on the back of Matt Simmons now, who has dropped off the back of Mazzanetti. Whoa, big dive up the inside, a bit of a double move there from the 232 Mustang driver. Looks to the outside, looks to the inside, can't make it stick. He's not close enough. That was a very, very bold move from Josh Green. And this is holding up because they've dropped off the back of James Machen. This is great for James Machen. This is a free kick for the podium. But Josh Green, he wants track position. He wants the points that come with fourth place, and he's not going to go down without a fight. So this is going to kick off with 3 minutes to go now in this race. We should have at least 2 more laps left in this race. To the outside now, a little bit of side-to-side contact between the two drivers. A lot of space left, and yes, there we go. The move has been done, a little bit of push and shove there from the two drivers, but they've sorted it out. Josh Green gets by through to fourth place now, and he can try and set after James Machen, but we just don't know what the speed difference is between James Machen and Josh Green, so we'll have to keep a close eye on that. But hang on, Matt Simmons isn't letting him go anywhere. He said, I'm not happy with that. This isn't over. Just because you passed doesn't mean that you just get to move on. And he is now pushing hard after him. You can see Liam Tame in behind, just sort of spectating all of this. He gets a front row seat to watch these guys go at it, and I am very jealous of that because I get to watch it all on screen, but to be sitting in the car behind and just watching a battle going on in front of you, it's just a completely different experience.
Yeah, it really is. Arnie is definitely a Foggy fan. Hopefully Isaac reads that in the YouTube chat. I'm not sure I want to read out the whole drinking bathwater thing. That is fandom levels achieved there, Arnie. Welcome to the club. You got to be joking. He's got the emotes in there as well. Lots more to cover season 2, so make sure you hit the like and subscribe and get tuned in, get signed up, get joined in. That is the most important thing. As you can see, overtakes on the podium positions right in the closing minutes. Will we finally see Ternetti get past Bishop, or are they going to finish as they started? The two of them have been absolutely different gravy, as we say in this hemisphere. 30 seconds ahead of Machen in third. He's on the pro podium. Green just got himself up on the podium at the head at the expense of Simmons, and he is breaking away with a good gap there. Crawley, championship winner in the Pro-Ams, has got second with Nicholson in third, and it is King leading the way for the Ams with Mr. T in second, and Takax, who had a rough start to the race, now finds himself on the podium after Porsche GT had an extra trip into the pits to repair that damage, but he too will bring home the championship win. We've got 49 seconds left to go, Isaac. I think they are going to just make one more lap. Get your bets in the chat now. S for Simon, M for Matt. Who do we think is going to win this one? I'm going to stick with my original prediction of Simon Bishop. It's one thing catching up to Simon, it's another thing entirely. As we've seen getting past them, Isaac, the two of them are razor close through multiple corners. At the moment, Bishop's got to be the favourite to bring this one home, but let's not count their netty out at any point. This is the last lap, actually, Isaac.
It is. This is the last lap, so this is going to be it. And he's not close enough, is Matt Donetti, to get a move done here. So this is going to be it. This is going to close the curtain on Season 1. What a season it's been. These two have been inseparable for the last couple races. The timer hits 0. They round the final corner. He's thrown everything at him today as Matt Donetti, but Simon Bishop just proves once again that he is a top-class driver. He is going to come home to win the finale here at Imola for Season 1 of Adrenaline GT. Matt Donetti will bring it home in second place. 5/10 off the back after an hour and a half of racing is absolutely incredible, and he should give himself a massive pat on the back there, because that is no mean feat, especially against someone like Simon Bishop. James Machen, take a bell, race winner last time out at Indianapolis, and he's going to back it up today with a podium spot, which will secure him second place in the overall and the Pro Championship. So that is absolutely brilliant stuff. Josh Green comes home in 4th, Matt Simmons in 5th, and then Dan Crawley, it looks like, will finish 2nd in the Pro-Am class and come home in a brilliant 6th place to round out his Pro-Am title challenge. And that is official now. He is the Pro-Am champion now that we've crossed the line. Sam King will win the Am class. He's already crossed the line for that race. So Sam King crosses the line. Absolutely brilliant. And Mr. T comes home 2nd in class, and George Takacs will come home 3rd in class for that race. Absolutely brilliant, brilliant stuff. I cannot express just how incredible that race was to watch.
I'm trying to multitask here. I could just say, yeah, Porsche GT, I believe it is the championship winners that are coming in for an interview. Porsche GT already in the box, and in fact, Griffin is still out on track. Bishop is parked up, bit of door banging going on between the drivers. I am going to try and save the highlights, so bear with me a moment, please, folks, and we'll see if we can get some highlights for the interviews before they disappear. There we go. Save the highlights.
So doing some background, also doing some background work as well. I'm trying to line up our interviews for our drivers post race. So I'm trying to make sure that we can get everybody in here. We're gonna have a chat to our class winners. So we're gonna have a chat to Simon Bishop. We're gonna have a chat to Dan Crawley, and we're gonna have a chat to Porsche GT. But I'm also keen to have a chat to Matt Donetti if we can. So I've just sent them
messages. Perfect. Well, while you do that, I will run down the full finishing order. As we saw in the AMs, it was King brought home the win, followed by Mr. T. Takacs rounding out the podium. AM Championship winner Porsche GT finishing in 4th ahead of Boyd Twinning, crashing out of the race. In the silvers, it was Matt Donetti, 2nd overall, 1st in the silvers by quite some margin, 55 seconds ahead of championship winner Dan Crawley. It was Nicholson rounding out the podium in the silvers, ahead of silver in the Ferrari. Sandwith in 5th place with Griffin, Horvath, Sinclair, Gordon and Williams on debut, rounding out the top 10. And of course, overall in the pros, it was that man Bishop bringing home the bacon in the BMW once again. Machin getting 2nd, Green getting 3rd with Simmons confirmed in 4th place. Stankowski got 5th with Sheppers in 6th. It was Burrows in 7th, Ashraf in 8th ahead of Tame in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 for the pros, it was Gray with Carter down at the back of the field. That is that done. So we will line up the interviews. What we'll need to do, I believe, is actually, because they're on console, Isaac, we will actually need to jump into the room with them, I believe.
Yes, well, I've also given them permission so they can just jump in. So I will just send them a message when it's their turn to jump in, and then they can get into the chat. So I believe that we have Matt Zanetti. We're still waiting for Simon Bishop to arrive. So we will start with Matt Zanetti. I'll just tell him to jump on in. Here, Mr. I'm definitely a Pro-Am driver, I promise. And he has graced us with his presence in the commentary box. Welcome along, Matt Zanetti. First of all, how are you feeling after that race?
Sweaty and stinky.
Perfect. I don't think for the majority of that race, our eyes were taken off you and Simon up the front. We've run out of superlatives to describe how that battle was, because I don't think for a second there you guys were separated for a lap there, you guys were separated by more than a second, except for when you came out of the pits. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was fun, and heaps of trust with Simon. So side by side, into a few corners where you probably shouldn't do, but racing Simon, you can trust the guy a lot and just have a crack and have a fun race. So.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a fun race, Matt. I've got to say, just an absolute talent behind the wheel, and it's good to hear. You can actually hear the smile on your face when you're talking about that battle, and you were saying going side by side through corners, you wouldn't necessarily do so. That side by side you had through there, through Sector 3, that was absolutely exhilarating to watch. The amount of respect between yourself and Simon was absolutely incredible. On a scale of 1 to about 1.2 million, how much fun was that little side-by-side extravaganza that you put on for us?
Mate, that's the most fun I've ever had in a race. So I was actually in a voice chat with Simon, so we were just laughing and carrying on and having a good time. So it was, we're having a real good show of it and just enjoying racing.
You were in a voice chat together as well?
Yeah, we're just having a good laugh and just racing, mate.
That's just, my goodness, no, that's not, I'll see myself out. Isaac, over to you, I'm done. These aliens, what planet do you come from, Matt? That is the big question. What planet is it that you aliens come from? Because, honestly, I'm going to jump over Isaac here once again, Matt. I've got to say, ACC is not an easy game. It's a tyre pressure simulator. We've seen the track temperature change slightly, and we know exactly how detrimental it can be being behind another car. So there was a lot of work going on for you there today. Just an incredible drive, mate. An incredible drive.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, the whole thing, you sneaking in and sandbagging as a Pro-Am, it's even more disturbing than the voice chat.
Yeah, I think we've definitely reviewed we've definitely spoken to the admins, and there is no possible way that you will be able to stay in the Pro-Am category for next season. I was mentioning earlier, Matt, it's been from a man who was upside down at Bathurst barely 6 months ago to now pretty much staying within 5/10 of Simon Bishop for an entire hour and a half race. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch you work this season, and considering you and Simon are in equal machinery for season 2, I'm very excited to see what happens, and I'm hoping the championship will go down to the wire between the two of you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been so surreal being from, like you say, upside down and then racing these quick dudes. It's pretty cool. So, and should also mention that you guys throw on a really good show here in league and to give us a chance to do it. So appreciate you guys as well.
Appreciate you giving us the kind words. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
One more moment. Sorry, I'm going to jump in.
No.
I'm going to jump in. I've got one more question for Matt. Everyone wants to know. Matt, I've just predicted already that Season 2 won't be decided until the final flag of the final race. You can hear just how much you enjoy the competitive side of things. How much are you looking forward to Season 2? And what genuinely do you think your chances are of bringing home the championship win?
Oh, I'm extremely keen. I can't wait to get into it. And as far as winning it, I mean, we've got a lot of quick dudes joining as well, so it's going to be, I think, look, I'm just going to look forward to the racing and what comes of it, you know. As long as we have fun and have some good races, that's all I'm after, mate. So
excellent. That is the attitude you need, race fans. This man should be admired and will be for years to come. And Matt, I cannot wait to get to watch season 2 unfold. Congratulations on your season 1 exploits. The streams have been absolutely electric because of yourself and a few of the other drivers, so huge thanks to you and everyone that's put on the show so far, and cannot wait to see you up on track next season.
Thanks, mate, appreciate it.
Sorry, Isaac, I jumped in there, but ladies and gents, that was Mr. Matt Dernetti. I believe we now have Exult, so that will be Dan Crawley, I believe, Isaac.
We do. I'm just letting him know to jump on in, and we will have a chat to him. We're waiting to hear from Simon Bishop, so we'll get him in certainly very soon. But we'll have a chat to Dan first, and I believe he is here. Mr. Dan Crawley, welcome along. First of all, congratulations, Pro-Am champion. How does it feel?
Oh, man, that was a tough series, but yeah, it was really fun.
Sounds like you're absolutely wore out there, Dan. Some serious competition. I mean, in your league, we saw there Matt Dernetti. He is absolute different gravy. He's going up to the pros, obviously. You'll be a worthy inclusion as well. But it's been an incredible season for you so far to bring home the championship win, especially after a difficult 90 minutes at Imola. What was the plan going into the race tonight? Because we know warm track, variable weather conditions, a 90-minute race at Imola. A lot can happen. What was the strategy going into tonight's race to make sure you secured that championship?
It was just trying to stay consistent, but with how difficult the track is and the bumps and curbs, it was so difficult. But yeah, just trying to stay consistent was the main thing, and that was it, really.
Well, yeah, certainly managed to do so.
Through,
oh, yeah, sorry, on you go, Isaac.
No, so I'm just talk us through the how this season has gone for you. Obviously, tonight was a very tough race, but you've had a few tough races come your way, and I know there's been a bit of frustration from the Pro-Am camp, especially navigating the season and the back markers. And I think Matt Zanetti has been one of those drivers that's just really quick, and it's really hard to catch him. But just talk us through, from your point of view, the consistency that you've shown has led to this title for you. How have you felt as the season's gone on? Did you think there was ever a point where you were like, yes, I am completely in contention for this title? Or was it always just, one race at a time and we'll see where we end up after this one?
From the start, it was just sort of getting a feel of how the lobby is and how the other drivers are, and seeing where I'd sort of fit in with that. And then as the races went on, it was more competitive, but trying to stay with Danetti. He's a different breed. But yeah, as the season went on, I felt a bit more comfortable, a lot more comfortable in the BMW especially, and yeah, just adjusting to the setups and the tracks, and just going from there.
Wonderful. Any more questions from your side of the camp, John, before we let Dan go and have what sounds like a well-earned rest?
Indeed, yeah, well-earned rest in a shower, no doubt, because it was hot on track and hot in the cockpits. How are you looking forward to next season, Dan? Obviously, bringing home the race win. You barely get any time to enjoy it. We're already asking you about Season 2, but Season 2, 10 races, and there's going to be endurance races that will feature co-drivers as well. So how have you found Season 1 overall, and how much are you looking forward to Season number 2?
Yeah, Season 1 was just awesome. Just getting into the community. Everyone here has been really friendly and helpful with any tips that I have asked for, but Season 2's looking to be really, really exciting, especially with the endurances and the driver swaps as well. So really looking forward to that, and just getting stuck in with Team XV Prima again, and hopefully we can do better next season.
And obviously you'll be looking to defend that title and laying down the marker and letting everyone know right now that it's already decided Dan Crawley will be champion next season, yeah?
Hopefully, but we'll see how we go.
We will indeed. Well done. It's been an absolute pleasure watching you this season. Congratulations again on a well-deserved win here at AGT ACC Season 1. And we cannot wait to see you and the team back out on track for Season 2.
Cheers, guys. Much love, and yeah, see you next season.
Thank you very much, Dan. We'll see you next season. That is Dan Crawley, our Pro-Am class champion for Season 1. And now it is time to have a chat to the man that had it all to do tonight, and he did it with style. Porsche GT managed to bring home the AM class championship, and we'll get him in here in just a moment. We've sent him the message to tell him to jump on in, so hopefully he will do so. Might be able to actually just drag him in here. Here we go. We'll drop him in. There we are. Porsche GT, have you got us there, mate? Might have. Oh, there we go. We have got him now. Porsche GT, welcome to the commentary booth. Congratulations, sir. At this stage, provided there are no major issues, obviously, which we don't foresee coming, you are the AM class champion for Season 1 of Adrenaline GT ACC. How does it feel?
Yeah, it felt pretty hard towards the middle of the season with obviously Twining gave me a battle, but no, he's really clean, really nice to race around, and yeah, all the blokes in AGT are, including you guys with the commentary, yeah, all good.
Yeah, it's been quite the season, Porsche, especially for us, Porsche and a McLaren, so thank you very much for that. But the good race tonight did kind of come unhinged a bit at the moment. You let some at the end there. You let some let some front markers through and ended up in the wall. Gave yourself a bit of a fright, but obviously you knew that all you had to do was finish the race tonight. So did that take any pressure off coming into the race, or was it still very much business as usual? Let's get this done.
Well, the first time I crashed, I thought it's all over, because when you crash, you get over 1 minute worth of damage, and then you think it's all over. And then I didn't know this, and then yeah, he retired, and thought all I have to do now is hope for no internet issues, and bring it home.
Yeah, the internet was cool tonight. Yeah, on you go, Isaac. Sorry.
I was about to say, it was great to see you bring it home. You mentioned there that Twining gave you a bit of a tough run in the middle of the season, and you know, looking at the points tables, there was a couple races where he did claw back some points on you, but you always managed to come out of the other side ahead, and you know, 50-point lead coming into the final round of the season. It wasn't much, but it was enough, and all you had to do was finish the race today. So I think you got to give yourself a pat on the back as well. You've done a brilliant job to come into this league and go against some of these faster guys. You've had some really good overall results as well throughout the season. Are you starting to sort of feel the improvements as you got on? Obviously, you know, we started the season, and we mentioned earlier with Matt Donetti, even he was a second and a half off Simon Bishop coming into this season at the first round, but he sort of closed up. Do you find that you've sort of done the same thing? Maybe not with the aliens like Simon Bishop, but with some of those guys that were not too far ahead of you at the start of the season. Do you now find you're sort of putting yourself into a position where you might be pushing for that Pro-Am category?
Yeah, no, nowhere near the aliens. They're way too out of my league. But no, every week you get new drivers, you get familiar faces, different faces, and you always chip that time away every week. So no, it's been great to race around these cars.
And of course, we've got the 10 rounds for next season with those driver swaps in there as well. How much are you looking forward to Season 2 and sharpening those skills even further, Porsche?
Oh, it's going to be great.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. And we can't wait to see you and the team back out on track. We've got a beautiful poster up on screen now. The Porsche GT in the McLaren GT3. the ARM champion, well deserved, a hard fought championship, Porsche, and yeah, I'm definitely again looking forward to see what you can do next season, see if you can defend that title.
Hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Anything
Thank you
else
very
from
much.
Jack?
No, that's all from me. Congratulations once again, Porsche. Thank you very much for jumping in to have a chat. We do appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you on track next season. That was Porsche GT in the chat, and now we get to our pro and overall champion, and coming along with him, I should say, is his teammate, because they are also the team champions, BCG3. It's Simon Bishop and Liam Tame, and we're just waiting for them to jump in, but this was an absolutely mega season from Simon Bishop, and here they are. Welcome, gentlemen. Simon Bishop, first of all, we'll start with you. Congratulations, you are the overall and the pro champion for season 1 of AGT. How does it feel?
Pretty good, mate. It's been fun. We've had some great races this season, like I said in the Discord. Almost all of them have had some kind of awesome battle, and today was no exception with Matt being behind me the entire race. I really wish he would have, not been there the entire race, but it would have been exciting to watch. But he's come on leaps and bounds, and indeed the whole field has got so much faster as the season's gone on, so I'm quite keen on season 2. And also happy to win team's title with Liam.
Absolutely, you guys have done a brilliant job throughout the season. The TTR Westside boys threw their best shot at you guys over the course of the season, and they led the way for a little while, and then you guys led the way, and the gap closed up a little bit, and it's just sort of extended back out just enough that you guys had a pretty comfortable lead coming to this final round. Talk me through your perspective, Liam. Obviously, you've got someone like Simon Bishop, who's just an absolute alien at this game and just sort of disappears into the distance, as it were. But talk me through your perspective. A great season from you. Brilliant result overall and in the pro class. Was it just a matter of backing Simon up, or was it you were also trying to find, obviously, the position for yourself and maybe push up towards that title as well?
I mean, we're just the best out there, straight up. We wake up and we piss excellence. So
the shake and bake,
now,
baby.
Legendary status
to not
has been achieved.
to not put a shake and bake spin on it, it's been pretty fun. I think we're always on the lookout for some more leagues to be running with the BCG. Obviously, running like a fair few teams this season. There's a lot of ACC guys who are familiar with what we do with OzNZ and even Race on Oz. So this has just been kind of another notch in the trophy cabinet, and that's not to put it lightly. I mean, there's a lot of really, really good competition. The TTR guys ran us all the way. Obviously, massive congratulations to Simon. He had a fantastic individual season. Like, couldn't touch him. He was very, 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 very strong. I'm not going to say I didn't help, but obviously my results weren't quite where I wanted them to be. But I think there was some setup work kind of behind the scenes where I'd say we both had a pretty good say in where the car was going, and I think most rounds we were running the same sort of setup. So obviously his car was, I guess the mechanics were just looking after it that little bit better. But yeah, I think overall it was a bit of a team effort. We had help from everywhere, whether it be myself, Simon, Paul, Cameron, Matt, Jono. I mean, everybody really had a say in this. So it's a massive team effort, and props to the boys at the BCG for getting it over the line.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here and ask Simon a question, if I may. I mean, huge congratulations on the team win, but for the individual efforts, absolutely incredible this season. That battle tonight, we had Matt Dernetti in the chat. He said the two of you were in the voice chat. He was beaming from ear to ear with that smile, talking about that battle with yourself. We know you're an absolute top driver. How much do you relish and enjoy these constant side-by-side battles? It's one thing to be able to run away from the field, but to have someone that close to you, how much did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I kind of said it before, like we kind of have one of those battles in every race, which is great, I think. Like, I tried to really send it a couple of times, as you saw at the Japanese round. Didn't always pay off, but yeah, like it makes you better. That's probably the main thing. Like, when you're driving by yourself, you don't really realise where the weaknesses in your game are. And then when you've got Matt right behind you, and if you make the smallest mistake, he'll be right there. It really makes you focus. And indeed, that race didn't seem like it was an hour and a half long, although I think Matt was a bit caught out at the start. I don't know if he told you, but he didn't have time to go to the loo before the race, so by the end of the race, he was in all sorts of trouble. But I think that kind of kept him a bit focused. So, yeah, I mean, I've been there before. But in terms of the racing, it was, like, really good. I don't think I crashed into anybody all season. I took myself out one round, obviously, but then that led to the good finish at Belgium. But, yeah, like, it's to be able to race side by side with people, whether it's Matt or the other Matt Simmons or Liam or any of the other drivers that we have, it's really, really entertaining, and the level of respect that we all have for each other is really, like, it makes the whole product better. You can race in other leagues where people crash into each other all the time and it becomes just a mess, whereas what we saw tonight, and indeed in most races this season, was really, really high quality. And I'm quite looking forward to that being in season 2. I think everybody's going to step up. I think a lot of the people have seen what this league is now and how it operates, so I think we'll probably see some more fast guys on the grid, whether it's from our BCG team or whether it's from other teams. And I'm quite looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, let's just talk really quickly about season 2. Obviously, Matt Zanetti will step up to pro. I think we've well established by now there's no amount of money in the world that he can pay us admins to keep him in that pro-am status. But obviously a 10-race calendar. We've got enduros on the table. We've got a new format in terms of the sprint feature race with the reverse top 10s in the sprint. What are you both, I guess from both of you, we'll start with you, Simon, then we'll throw to you, Liam. What are you most looking forward to for next season? What's something that you're really excited for? Obviously, the racing this season has been really good, and we're hoping it will continue. But yeah, is there something at the top of your list that you're really excited for to come in next season?
I actually really like the races with something a little bit different to them. We always do these kind of races, where you qualify and you do the single race. So anything that has like a reverse grid element, in this case the top 10, I think it's really exciting because that gives you the random element, right? And the random element is what makes it exciting if you spice it up a little bit. It also gives people a chance to shine that might not otherwise be able to. So for me, to be those kind of races, the ones that aren't the traditional formats, they're the ones that I'm quite looking forward to. I don't know about Liam.
What do you think, Liam? What are you looking forward to?
Sorry, Liam's just
for
a bit
next
busy
season?
pissing excellence. He'll be back to the microphone in a moment.
When you piss excellence, you got to make sure to harvest it every time you go, right? It's an interesting thought, actually. I think season 1 was really interesting, and I think we hit the nail on the head for so many elements of the league, and I think that's awesome for a league to have its first season and really just hit the ground running. So season 2, I think there's probably not a single driver that was in season 1 that isn't looking forward to season 2. Personally, I think it's going to be the personnel. I think we're really starting to step up and see some really quick drivers. So for me, probably one of the biggest thing actually is I'm going to be calling him out here, but the inclusion of Willstar is actually really exciting for me. He's just been so rapid in every car he's ever touched, and having shared a team with him for GRT over at Race on Oz, I'm super keen to see what he does against us finally. So obviously we've had the benefit of racing against him, behind him in Oz and Z, but yeah, he's just such a high level operator, and he's another one of these guys who's going to run straight to Matt, straight to Simon, and really just create these awesome battles that we're going to be able to focus on and ultimately learn off to expand everybody. I mean, there's not a single person that doesn't get better or doesn't just naturally improve when you've got this level of driver leading you forward.
And that is what you absolutely love to hear as a viewer and a commentator and broadcaster. You love to hear the enthusiasm for the battles. We'll see quite a few drivers out there, they will just take off and get into the distance, and they don't like being pressured. But yeah, you guys well deserved team win, and with an ethos like that, season 2 is going to be absolutely electric. I do want to quickly ask Simon, I mean, I think I already know the answer, you kind of already touched on it. We've seen Matt Dernetti run you close at the end there. I was asking him how much he was looking forward to the battle for Season 2. I mean, you've got to be the hot favourite to win Season 2. How much are you relishing the challenge that is, as your teammate Liam was saying there, is about to come to the league and defending that crown?
Yeah, well, it's not going to be easy. I got a bit lucky this season, got quite a big head start. But yeah, next season will be pretty unbelievably close, I think. Particularly when you factor in that Matt, for example, is running on like a pretty old Logitech wheel. So if he ended up on a good wheel, I probably wouldn't even see him. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. I think towards the end of the season, you saw that people were really getting a lot closer, particularly in qualifying. Qualifying matters so much. Well, when you don't have reverse grids anyway, but I think people are going to put a bit more time into it, which is great. I think because it goes back to what I said before. I think particularly what Liam said in terms of that when it raises everybody's level. What's the phrase, like a rising tide raises all ships or something? But
is that?
That just kind of, for me, it's what you said before. If you're running out by yourself, you don't really learn what your weaknesses are. So the more people that run at the front, like Liam said with Will Star, he'll be great. We're already running nose to tail in another league, and then Max Simmons as well, and then I'm sure a few others will join. But it'll be great. I'm quite looking forward to it. One thing I did want to say was I want to say thanks to you guys for the efforts you've put in this year, or this season. Obviously, you guys will also be pretty excited, and I imagine you'll have some wrinkles for Season 2. But indeed, also wanted to say thanks to people that tuned in, because I think that the people that tuned in this season have seen some pretty good stuff. So, yeah, on to next season, I think.
Yeah, no,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, on you go, Isaac. Sorry, I'll do some technical stuff in the background. You crack on, mate.
I was just going to say, I couldn't have said it better myself, Simon. It's been absolutely amazing, the work that has gone in behind the scenes. Not just from myself. I'm only one small part of a massive admin team that makes this all happen. But everyone tuning in at home and watching, and that's what we've put a message in the chat to everyone that has been watching along, because we're so thankful for you guys tuning in, week out to watch the racing. Thank you both so much for jumping in and having a chat to us. We wish you the best of luck for Season 2. We look forward to seeing you both on track, and to VTG to defend their team's title, for Simon, you to go out there and defend your driver title. So thank you very much for joining us, fellas, and enjoy the off-season break.
Oh, we will, I'm sure. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, congratulations to you both, and thank you for the compliments on the broadcast. They're an absolute pleasure to preside over, and I'm sure I'm absolutely gutted I'm not going to be here for it, but Isaac will be, and he will be here for season number 2. Isaac, the calendar up on screen now. 10 rounds of absolute perfection for AGT for their second crack at a season.
Yeah, and it's going to be absolutely brilliant. We kick it all off on Friday, the 2nd of May. So only about a 3-week break we will have between now and when we get underway for Season 2. And we start with the Italian job. So we've finished here in the lovely Italian countryside, and we will kick things off in the lovely Italian countryside when we go to Misano for round 1. And that is a 1-hour race to get things underway. And then we head to the lovely Spanish Super Sprint at Barcelona for another race the week after, I should say, and it'll take place on the 9th of May. So we go 2 weeks in a row of racing, and then we go to Silverstone for the Silverstone Clash. That's a 1-hour race for round 3. Round 4, we head to the Austrian circuits, well, the Red Bull Ring, I should say, on Friday the 6th of June. That is the first time we will head to Austria in AGT history for the Assetto Corsa side, that is, and that's a super sprint format as well. And then I'm very excited for this one. It's the American Grand Prix. We go to Watkins Glen for 3 hours, 2 drivers per car. It's going to be an absolutely brilliant enduro, and I'm very, very, very excited, rubbing my hands together at the thought of jumping in the commentary box for that one. If we thought an hour and a half went by quickly, I can't wait to see how quickly 3 hours is going to go past. But then, after that, we head a couple of weeks later to Bathurst for the TrackSpotTV Challenge. Obviously, TrackSpotTV, our brilliant broadcasting partner here at AGT ACC, and we've given them the title. Well, we're not given them. We offered them the title rights to a round, and they chose the Bathurst round, which is the first time we will debut our sprint feature format. We'll explain what that is in just a second. Then we head for round 7. It's the community vote. So if you're not in the Discord already, make sure you jump in, because you have to be in the Discord to get a say in where we race for round 7. There'll be some very exciting options on the table, I'm sure. And then Sunday, the 10th of August, it's the second of our 2 Enduros. It's the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa. This is where we kicked off Season 1. And now, to spice things up, we're going to go racing for 4 hours. Again, 2 drivers, and anything can happen. I'm very excited for that one. Round 9, for the penultimate round, we got a super sprint at Laguna Seca for the American Super Sprint. That will be an absolute cracker. The Corkscrew, one of the most technically challenging pieces of racetrack in the world, and our drivers are going to have to navigate that over 2 30-minute races. And then the Season 2 finale at Valencia, Ricardo Tomo. The circuit that is the name of the circuit, and we have our second sprint feature format. That wraps up on the 29th of August. So 10 brilliant rounds headed our way, and we have believe we have an info sheet for the new formats for this season. So a sprint feature format taking place at both Bathurst and the finale at Valencia. It's a 20-minute qualifying session to set the grid for the feature race. And then there'll be a 30-minute sprint race, which will be the reverse top 10 from quali. So anyone outside of the top 10 gets to hold on to their grid position, and they'll be safe in the knowledge that where they qualify is where they'll start for both races. But if you qualify on pole for the feature race, you'll start from 10th in the sprint race. There's no mandatory stop required for that race. The 60-minute feature race will then take place. That's our regular 1-hour races. That's the normal quali results, 1 mandatory stop, 2 races in one night. That's similar to our sprint race format. We get 2 races in one night. This one, though, is an hour and a half of racing across the 2 races. And then, boy, am I excited for this one, John. It's the enduro race.
And the endurance races is absolutely where it's at. We've got 2 of them, a 3-hour and a 4-hour race, multiple mandatory stops. They're going to need fuel and tyres to make it to the end, and 2 drivers per car with minimum and maximum stint times, so we don't just see Simon Bishop and Matt Dernetti leading the way for their teams respectively, because let's face it, if you could, you absolutely would. And there will be multi-stage qualifying for the first time in AGT, which will include a top 10 shootout. Oh yes. That is going to... all we need to do now is limit the number of tyres the drivers are allowed to use in quali, and that will really make it interesting. The 3 new circuits coming to AGT, the Red Bull Ring, the best circuit, one of the best circuits on the planet, Laguna Seca. If that doesn't scream racing, I don't know what does. And Valencia, of course, the MotoGP track that has been affectionately adopted by GT3 drivers, will be making its appearance. And Isaac, of course, the community voted round, as you said. Get into the Discord, get yourself joining in, and you can decide where the drivers will be driving 2/3 of the way through season number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Get in the Discord, get your votes in. But in the meantime, I think that will do it, John. Is there any other notes from you? Anything final notes to add before we head off for the evening?
I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that got TrackSpotTV involved. It's been an absolute pleasure covering the action, even if illness did wipe me out of one of them. Let me get TV. There we go. Get the chat screen up. But yeah, huge thank you to everyone that's been watching and interacting in the chat as well, and a massive thank you to the drivers. What a show you all have put on. Iron sharpens iron, and this is some of the sharpest I've seen in quite some time. AGT ACC's console community in very good hands here at AGT, and the drivers again absolutely world class, and cannot wait to be sneaking a watch of the stream while I'm at work for season number 2, Isaac.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a shame not to have you in the commentary box, but we will rest assured we will bring you an amazing broadcast nonetheless. It's been an absolute pleasure to work alongside you for this season, John. You are one of the best in the business when it comes to commentating, especially across the Assetto Corsa, and all the feedback we have received has been absolutely brilliant. Everyone's loved having you along. I've loved having you along, and yeah, it's just been it's been an absolute pleasure. We've got him blushing. That's what we wanted to do. We're winning. But yes, thank you to everyone also watching at home. It's been an absolute privilege to bring you guys this broadcast, to be commentating on these races. We get to watch some awesome racing. You guys get to watch some awesome racing. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream. Make sure you follow Adrenaline GT. Make sure you follow TrackSpotTV. A huge thank you to them for coming on board and supporting this league. It would not be possible to do this broadcast the way we do it without TrackSpotTV. So make sure you guys support them. And if you have any of your own broadcasting needs now or in the future, make sure you get on their website and fill out the form, because these guys are absolutely brilliant to work with. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you all so much at home for tuning in. What a season 1 it has been. I, for one, am so looking forward to what season 2 brings. But for now, that is all from all of us here at Adrenaline GT. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I've been Isaac Fogarty. Have a good night.
Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight.